Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Vans centre.
With your headlines at just gone 10 a.m, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Liverpool's Jeremy Frimpong is set for a spell on the sidelines. Here's Arne Slot.
I will definitely not be in the squad tomorrow, so he's out for a few weeks, but not as bad as we thought.
Ibrahim Kanat.
You're listening to Matterface Alex Crook and the former Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT this morning. So Aston Villa led the way for British clubs in the Europa League last night as they finished second in the competition's league phase. We'll reflect on a host of European action and bring you the draws for both competitions later in the day. Newcastle United, Nottingham Forest and Celtic all awaiting their playoff fate. Stick with us and we'll give you it as soon as it happens. Meanwhile, today marks 6 years of Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. Do the question marks of his leadership still hang over him, or has that been dispelled? Also today, how did Kai Havertz come full circle to be the boost Arsenal need for their title hopes? And how much of a salvation can sport be in a time of tragedy? And have Newcastle moved on from Alexander Isak? It's Matterface Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT. Hey, a very good morning to you. It's talkSPORT with Matterface Crook and Agbonlahor. Funboy Friday. We're live, we're loud. We're probably already in trouble with the producer, Joe, the ref, who forgot to write the opener again this week. Alex Crook is here, fresh back from the Villa game last night. Look at you. You okay? You're all right? You were shivering. You look like a man who's been through it. What can we do to warm you up? Because let's be honest, you've probably been left out in the cold for so long. It's almost like waiting for Arsenal to win a trophy.
I've just about thawed out. And, I was expecting Gabby there. Maybe he'd bring me a nice hot chocolate or a bovril, but he only turns up at Villa Park on the big night.
No, you weren't there.
Only Champions League games for me, mate. I'll set my standard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So next season,
Did you
I'll
play
be
in the
every
Champions
game.
League when you were playing?
Nearly.
Oh, right.
We finished
Nearly.
6th, and we should have got top 4. Yeah.
6th. Close. So close.
Get your Champions League nowadays.
He's the main man, 400 appearances in English football, Villa legend, a man who back in the day could move faster than the speed with which Crook changes his opinions.
Not anymore, though.
Gabby Agbonlahor, is it? What's wrong with you?
I'm not quick anymore.
You're not quick anymore.
No, it's a shame.
Why is that?
Legs have gone,
How
mate.
old are you?
39, 40 in October.
You should still have a turn of pace, though.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 yards. I mean, Crookie. Maybe in the old 6-a-side on a Monday night.
You know, Crookie's been training.
I see.
Yeah, been on the treadmill.
What for?
Just to try and get in shape. It's that time of year, isn't it? Got the 5K down to about 27 and a half minutes, which is all right for me.
Lovely summer. Get ready for the summer, Alex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get the beach bod out, ready for Miami.
Miami, Is that where your base will be? Miami Beach for the World Cup?
Joe the ref said, did you do your 5K in 27 minutes on a bike?
Very good. I've not heard that one before. At least I didn't pull my hamstring on a fitness test.
It was his calf, wasn't it? Right, okay. The headlines from last night's Europa League action. Celtic win again under Martin O'Neill. They secured a playoff place. Aston Villa came from 2-0 down to win 3-2, but lost Ollie Watkins to a hamstring injury. We'll get into that in just a second. Forest did their best, produced a very strong result, actually, at home against Ferencvaros, but results didn't go in their favour. It means that they're probably going to end up with a game against Fenerbahce or Panathinaikos. In the playoffs, Rangers took the lead in Porto, and then abysmal defending cost them dear, and they'll now concentrate on what is a very special period for them in the Scottish Premiership. They've got a big league campaign. We'll get to that as well in just a second. Aston Villa, how bad is the Ollie Watkins injury?
I think they'll be hoping not too serious, because he did play on for a good 10-15 minutes after he pulled up initially, so that would suggest that maybe it was more of a precaution. I guess it does call into question their decision to send Evan Gesson out on loan to Crystal Palace, but Tammy Abraham was introduced to the crowd last night, so they've got a backup option for this weekend anyway. But would you let Gesson go out when you've got European football? You can.
Well, he hasn't exactly pulled up any trees, has he?
I would, because I think did they say a £2 million loan fee and maybe a permanent at the end of the season. For me, he's not been good enough. He's been way off it for the standard of the Premier League, and this is what happens under this manager. If you don't show you can handle the Premier League, he will move you on. I'm sure Watkins, for him to play on for a little bit, it looks to me like being in that position. Maybe he misses the weekend. Yeah. But the following weekend, he'll be back for.
It was a very cold night, as I've already mentioned as well. So if you are struggling with a bit of a muscle issue, then...
Did you see what he was dressed up in, by the way, last night?
Yeah.
Don't. Honestly, that was meant to be a joke present from the missus. She brought me like a shower gel gift set, and the hat came free. She's like, "You're not actually meant to wear it." I said,
that's the Villa's first half performance. Warm you up, or?
Do you know what, they were poor? First 50-odd minutes, Harvey Elliott, a rare start for him, didn't really grasp the opportunity.
It's a strange situation, isn't it?
Yeah, and I put it to Chris Iwelumo in co-commentary. It must be difficult for Harvey Elliott because you know the manager doesn't really fancy you, so it's difficult just to play your natural game. Maybe you're trying too hard to impress.
Well, it's the other issue you've got is that you know it doesn't matter if you do impress. He's not going to play you anyway. It's his sixth appearance of the season. He knows he can only play up to 9 because if he plays any more than that, they have to spend 35 million quid on him, which they've already said they're not going to do. So it was just a run out, really.
It's a weird situation though. When I'm watching him last night, I'm like, you want to put in a good performance for your next move. You know the manager's not going to make it permanent, so he's not going to play you probably again for the rest of the season. Very, very, very strange situation. But what I will say, what I enjoyed most out of the game was the young lad, Jamalden Jamo, 19-year-old, scored his first goal, European debut. And I've been in that situation. You know, you break into the first team and you're 19, your family's there. A proud moment for him and his
you scored on your debut, didn't you?
Against Everton,
yeah. In a defeat with 4-1 you lost, didn't you?
Yeah, but I've done my bit. Clean sheet wins us the game, Crookie, did it?
Do you know what was nice about that goal? It was made by Caden Young, who also came off the bench, and it was a brilliant finish in front of the Holt end. And those two made a real difference when they came on. Just added energy. They were running at the Salzburg defence. They played with fearlessness.
Yeah, and you're going to need some of these.
A little bit of a worry about George Hemmings, who's very well thought of. Didn't exactly sort of feel as if he looked comfortable in the middle.
That happens though, as a young lad. You know, I didn't think it worked out for him in the first half. He come off at half time, but the manager will play him again. You know, sometimes as a young lad, I remember my debut against Everton. I was horrendous. I just managed to score a goal that Richard Wright should have saved, to be honest. But because I scored, I carried on in the first team under David O'Leary. If I hadn't scored, I Probably would have been back with the under-18. So he will come again, and you'll learn from that experience. You haven't got as much time when you're playing against professionals.
I saw Richard Wright on the school run the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, just I think he lives in the same town as me. I saw him a couple of times actually when I'm going into the school.
You've done a school run?
Was Richard Wright first choice for the school run, or was he number 3?
Outrageous.
Was that on the way back from a game? So.
Tammy Abraham is back, introduced to the crowd last night. Look, listen, you know I love Tammy Abraham. I actually went out and bought a Roma shirt with Abraham on the back when he was transferred. I was gutted that he left Chelsea. He got 15 goals in his full season playing in the Premier League for Chelsea. 34 games, 15 goals. Pretty impressive. Yes. And when you think that actually he's got another 3 elsewhere as well, I don't think that anybody's posted those figures, by the way, since he's left. Chelsea haven't had a striker who's scored that many goals since then. He scored 17 and 37 his first season in Serie A. He was hampered by injury after that. He scored goals for Bristol City on loan in the Championship. He scored for Aston Villa in the Championship when they got promoted. He knows the club well. Is he going to be able to fit seamlessly back in to the Aston Villa way of life?
I think it might take him a few weeks to get used to the Unai Emery way. Different for Douglas Luiz, who's played under the manager, but he's better expect an intense manager who's going to want so much off him. But what he offers, Sam and Alex, is something different. You know, he can hold the ball up. He's good in the air. He's got a yard of pace as well in behind. It can be chaotic at times in a good way for defence. And for 20 million. It's a no-brainer. It really is, because he'll be looking at, can I get a run of games? I know this manager, if I do well, he will give me a chance to keep playing, even if Watkins is available. So there's a chance for another striker to go to the World Cup.
He's taken quite a significant pay cut as well, I believe, to come back, which I guess tells you that he is really committed to Aston Villa, committed to being back in the Premier League, and who knows, maybe being committed to try and force his way into the World Cup squad. I know you think he's got a chance.
But I didn't say that. What I said was, just such a liar.
Ref, did he say that?
No, he didn't say that.
He's nodding his head.
The ref is lying as well. What I said was...
Refs don't lie.
Yes, it's certain ones do. What I said was, out of all of the English goal scorers across Europe, who has got the most this season? And the answer is Tammy Abraham. He got 13 goals in 26 games.
Don't rate the Turkish league, Alex.
Besiktas. He got 10 goals.
Did you watch Fenerbahce last week?
He got 10 goals in 44 for AC Milan last season in Serie A. Look, listen, okay, you can have a go at him if you like, but he's scored goals. I think he'll be a good addition for Aston.
He knows the club. He's been there in 2018 for a season. Fantastic goal record there. And also, he's probably been watching Aston Villa, following them as one of your old clubs, and see where they're at. Spoke to some of the players. He will know Konsa. He will know McGinn. He will know some of the English players there. And this club, where it's going, this manager, he got a chance of playing Champions League football next season.
Do you know what last night does do? Because they've come from behind, they've won the game, obviously show character to do so. It keeps that fortress feel to Villa Park going. I know they lost to Everton in the last Premier League game, but their record over the last 22, 23 matches there is absolutely tremendous. They've got Brentford at the weekend, and they always beat at home. So it's important, I think, in terms of momentum.
It's longer than that. I mean, it's going back 2 years now. They've got a fantastic home record that is absolutely superb. It's only very rare that they get beaten. Crystal Palace, I think, beat them earlier in the season.
Yes.
Everton have beat them. But apart from that, you know, you're talking only the very, very best go there and get something.
That's why it was so important to get top 2 last night. So the second leg is at home.
Yeah.
All the way through until the final.
Exactly. So so for instance, goes to extra time, you got home advantage. So that's why he was so angry at the first half performance.
Which I can understand. I think a few Nottingham Forest fans have been a little bit upset with the way that they've been playing recently, but they've got 2 back-to-back thumping wins now, including last night against Ferencváros, who you told us were a very good team, and you thought that they would cause Nottingham Forest problems. They certainly didn't. Igor Jesus scored twice as they rounded off the league phase of the Europa League with a comfortable win last night. Igor Jesus, is he performing because he knows that he's got competition now on his shoulder?
Well, it might just focus the mind, mightn't it? I think Ollie Watkins always plays better at Villa when he's got someone breathing down his neck. So it doesn't do any harm. He has saved his best performances for the cup competitions. His goals have come outside the Premier League. But
4 in 4, though, in 3 different competitions since the 9th of Jan.
Yeah, and confidence-wise last night will help, won't it? And it's important for Forest because they were on a really poor run. I was hearing some whispers about Sean Dyche and the owner there being maybe not overly enamoured with the run of form before last weekend. So back-to-back wins, I think, are important.
Going to need his goals as well, because West Ham aren't going anywhere. West Ham they're showing fight. Their last 2 Premier League games, back-to-back wins. Chelsea on the weekend. You fancy Chelsea to win, but it won't be a comfortable one.
Lorenzo Luca was sitting in the stands last night. He's got a very inventive nickname because he's come from Italy, so they're calling him, because he's 6'7", Pizza Crouch.
I like that.
I thought you would like it. But is he the only competition that he's going to have?
Well, they've got this offer on the table for Jean-Philippe Mateta. I don't think officially Palace have rejected it yet, and sources at Forest were saying yesterday they believe it's a very good offer, but it still falls below what Palace want from Mateta. There's talk of AC Milan stepping up their interest. So at the moment, that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, but it does add a fascinating dynamic to the game on Sunday that was always going to be a bit hostile anyway, bearing in mind what happened in the summer between the two clubs.
We were a little bit gutted. We talked about it on Premier League All Access, actually, yesterday, which is available on the talkSPORT app, in which we were saying in the 90s that this transfer had already happened. And the first game for Jean-Philippe Mateta and for Strand Larsen, who was once a target of Nottingham Forest, would be against each other on Sunday. It'd be a great big thing, but of course they're not going to allow that to happen. Steve Parish won't allow that to happen. He won't leave before they've played on Sunday. It might develop further after that. And of course we've got that big show where we do all the transfer news on Monday night from 6:30. Crook and Jim White will be in this studio in the evening. We'll talk about Martin O'Neill in the next few minutes because he's managed to steer Celtic into the playoffs of the Europa League, the draw for which is coming up a little bit later. And I just wonder whether or not we're a little bit quick to discard experienced gaffers.
12 months ago when Palmer was fit. Who do you take, Fernandes or Palmer?
Palmer.
Yeah. Because now your excuse is he's not fit. Hence, we're not seeing the best of him, which I do agree with you. You have a point.
Here's a question for you, Sammy. Man United, moving forward, Bruno Fernandes or Cole Palmer?
Moving forward. Because you said moving forward, obviously Cole Palmer, because he's younger. And if he can stay fit. But look on the plus side. Fernandes is hardly injured.
No, he don't get injured a lot, to be fair to him. Doesn't get injured a lot.
No, the injuries are...
Produces every week as well, though, mate. I know, like, he gets a bad rap, I think, but, man, you look at his stats also, in terms of chances created, it's ridiculous.
No,
every season he's top.
He's top drawer, right? But Cole, it seems such an unfair conversation because Cole Palmer has had this season on the back of the Club World Cup, one player of the tournament, by the way, right? We're talking about a serious footballer here. And it wasn't that long ago that he was being looked at as the next bright young thing in world football, right? And his injuries, it's amazing what injuries can do to you if you can stay fit. Now, maybe the Club World Cup has come back to haunt him a little bit. He's played a lot of football. He's had his groin issues. He can't get in the squad. He can't stay fit. He's got his own personal issues right now to get himself back into Chelsea's best 11.
Yeah.
When he's fit, he's in Chelsea's best 11. There's no doubt about that. When he's fit, he's knocking on that door of that England 11. There's no doubt. But at the moment, he can't. The conversation feels so unfair. And I, like I said, on a personal level, can't get fit.
Sammy, just quickly. Yeah. Bruno at his best and Palmer at his best. Who do you want in your midfield?
Bruno.
Okay.
Because we saw what he did when he first came in. He was like unreal.
morning to you. This is talkSPORT. It's Matterface Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Crook, Master, got your headphones in yet?
No.
He's such a diva now, Gabby. Have you noticed this? He's got someone who comes in to put his headphones in for him. He's either a diva or he's absolutely stupid. It's one of the two things.
I've got weird ears. Even when I try and run on the treadmill and I've got earbuds in, they fall out.
I think James, the Man United fan, would be nice to hear about how much of a diva you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Make you feel happy.
Do you think he'll come in?
If he rang up again, I'll put earplugs in, let alone headphones.
Would you do that yourself or would you ask somebody else to do it for you? Martin O'Neill left the studio one morning here. He was heading to Chelsea for a spot of lunch. The next thing we know, he's in the dugout at Celtic. He stopped the sinking ship. He steadied it for Wilfried Nancy, who torpedoed it straight away, and he's got them back on an even keel again. One defeat in 14, and another impressive performance last night. What does he do that gets players on side?
He is the best manager I played under for man management. You know, if you could go and see Martin about anything, and he'd have you back. Even if you had a poor game, Sam, I had a lot of them. But
no,
he would still play me, if that makes sense, because he knew that, like...
To be fair, you're hard on yourself, but you played 400 Premier League, basically English...
Cookie will say I didn't get the 100 clubs, so I was a poor striker. But no, Martin, like, he was harsh to certain positions on the football pitch. Fullbacks. If you never stop the cross... You know how nowadays, when you watch wingers just get a cross in, Crookie, and it's too easy, Martin O'Neill would go crazy if he never stopped the cross. But what I could imagine is all of those Celtic players would have been so angry at a new manager coming in, totally different. Martin just gets it. He just gets players' mentality, gets what players want, and he won't complicate his tactics. He won't complicate his set pieces.
Well, it is one defeat in 14, which is pretty impressive, and they have been pretty good, actually, in the league as well. I know they didn't manage to beat 10-man Hearts last Sunday, but Hearts are a very good team. He has that twinkle in his eye. He's got unbelievable charisma. We know that firsthand. Yeah. Is it a cocktail of circumstance that he has come back into Celtic and thrived, or has football made a mistake not using him more over the last decade?
Yeah, I think the latter, to be honest, because I think there's always a role for those sort of elder statesmen. We had Steve Bruce in the studio a few weeks ago, and I know he's done a couple of commentaries with you. I feel he's still got a lot to offer, maybe in frontline management, if not certainly in the boardroom. I think a lot of young managers make the mistake of thinking if they ask an older head for help, then maybe it's a sign of weakness. Actually, I think as a mentor, people like Martin O'Neill and Steve Bruce could do a lot of good for those young managers. I've got to say, hiring the manager of Columbus Crew might go down as the most stupid decision we've ever seen in football. You look at the league table, they'd have just stuck with Martin O'Neill. I would argue they'd be top of the table. They'd have won the League Cup. I don't know what the hierarchy were thinking with that point.
But it's not an isolated incident, isn't it? And I wonder whether we're in danger of being a bit ageist when it comes to experienced managers, or whether or not the winners like Martin or even other managers. You mentioned Steve Bruce. Alan Pardew works on this station, and he's still got a lot to offer.
Alan Kirbishley never came back in, did he?
Are they overlooked because the owners think for most of the time they can get away with getting someone younger, cheaper, fresher, just come out of their pro license, can give a better PowerPoint presentation, looks a little bit slicker and new, always chasing that new young star. I look at some of the appointments this year. You go through some of them. They've been an absolute disaster. Maybe it's because the coaches are young, they're inexperienced, it's easier to pay them off because you're not paying them as much money because they're cheaper, or it's easier to discard them because the fans don't have a relationship with them. They don't have a relationship with the media. Or they might just not be as demanding to the board as some of the more...
I think as well, Martin O'Neill was a manager. He wasn't a coach. He's a coach. He's a manager. When we was at Aston Villa, John Robertson, rest in peace, and Steve Walford, they were the coaches. Now at Celtic, it was Sean Maloney, young, fresh, got ideas of coaching. Martin O'Neill was that manager who just restored order, you know, even at games where he
runs the joint.
Yeah, but we were fighting for the top four. It comes to February, March, and 3 seasons in a row we messed up. Every time we messed up, he'd come in, savage into the change room, calling us cowards. You know, that old school management, and maybe these players nowadays, maybe they can't handle it.
Well, is that one of the issues, actually? Is that why we've lost some of these big characters? Because some of the younger players now are a little bit more sensitive, and everybody sort of perceives them as sort of needing someone of their own generation to sort of mollycoddle them through.
It's so different. I remember my last few years at Aston Villa, and some of the younger players coming through, even if the older players even had to go with them in training for, not doing the right thing, some of them would be close to tears. It's just a different generation of players. When I was a young player coming through, like, I remember Gavin McCann at Aston Villa saying, like, just a lucky season you're having. You're not going to go far. Just like that old school mentality above you.
What did that do to you?
Made me think, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And I did.
I think also what you're seeing now is too many owners are taking advice of people that really aren't in a place to give it. You look at Celtic, they hired Paul Tisdale as their sort of director of football. Now, he did a really good job as Exeter manager. You look at the rest of his managerial career, he lasted less than a year at MK Dons, same at Bristol Rovers, same at Stevenage. Why on earth should you let him pick the new Celtic manager? Two big examples of it in the Championship. Leicester City, John Rudkin, the director of football there, is the main issue of that football club. Southampton, the owner, we know him, he's got good intentions. But the people who are signing the players and appointing managers, they don't have a clue, quite frankly.
Yeah, I just wonder whether or not you're in a situation now where you've got too many people making appointments that are sort of like fantasy appointment. It's like, we've got this
They all
guy.
want to discover the next big thing, don't
We've
they?
got this guy who's just come out of the pro license. He's got a great reputation in the MLS. Let's bring him in. He's going to be the next big thing. We can pay him 30 grand a year, and then hopefully in the next few years we'll be able to sell him like Graham Potter off to Chelsea for 20 million quid. But it doesn't always work like that. There is value in experience. It might not be the be-all and end-all, and I'm not suggesting for a minute that we should be wheeling out Big Sam Allardyce for another stint as England boss at the end of next summer. I'm just saying that Martin is proof, and David Moyes is another one who is proof that actually experience can be vital. Look at West Ham and Everton over the course of the last 10 years, the amount of disastrous appointments that those two clubs have made, and look at the one man that has stabilised both clubs. It's not a coincidence.
I'm sure David Moyes as well over the years has changed his way of playing as well. He's not like oh, I'm old school, that's it, 4-4-2. No, he will go with the times. You play out from the back when you can, different type of football. But for these Celtic players to get Martin O'Neill in, fantastic job. And then, okay, we're going to bring this guy in from French manager from the United States of America, and maybe his mannerisms or his coaching habits or how he spoke to the players. What's going on here? Martin comes in, okay, we're back, understand him, can work with him.
Are we in danger of being a bit ageist when it comes to managers? Are we too ready to discard experience? 03717 223344. You can text us 81089. You can WhatsApp us 03717 223344. It's Matterface Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here through to 1 on talkSPORT with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
Let's go to Zach. He's an Arsenal fan, right, Zach? Hi, Zach.
Arsenal.
Well done. Congrats. You finished top. Fair play to you.
Mate, I think that penalty was a bit stupid to drag him down like that. But apart from that, I'm happy, and I think we're gonna go on and win it all.
What do you mean?
I think we're gonna go in and win the Champions League, mate.
Do you genuinely believe that? Do you think you're the best
Oh,
team?
I believe it in my whole heart. I believe it in my whole heart that we'll win. I don't have a doubt that we win.
I'm not convinced, Zach. I'll be honest. I'm not convinced.
You just said earlier you think they could as well.
Oh, of course they can, because they're a good team and they're top. But I'm not convinced they're going to win the Champions League. Reason being, you ain't won it before.
What is on?
You ain't won it.
But...
You're stumbling already in the Premier League. You played Kairat tonight. You made 11 changes. You won 3-2, but I don't know. I'm not that convinced with Arsenal. When it gets to the latter stages over two legs, I think you're going to I think you get found out.
What you mean is you hope they get found out.
Well, obviously I hope, but I genuinely believe. Listen,
they're in everything. 4 points clear in the Premier League.
I'm not going to lose too much sleep if Arsenal win the Champions League, right? I, as a Spurs fan, I have to take it on the chin. But I just genuinely think that Arsenal won't win the Champions League. I just don't think. I think they're better teams than you over two legs.
Look, I think your argument that we haven't won it is ridiculous because of PSG last season. They won it, but they've never won it before. Man City a few years ago, they won it. They won it, but they don't win it before, I think it's our time.
And it is easy to say, I think they're going to get beat by someone. There are like 24 teams that could...
Yeah, I know. The 24 teams. If you get to I'm talking about latter stages. Barcelona over two legs.
Well, you think they're going to... Yeah, but whoever...
Bayern Munich. I know they beat Bayern Munich, and that was a really good performance, to be fair. But over two legs, I just think they get beat.
Max Dowman signed a pre-agreement with Arsenal and will sign his first pro deal on December 31st when he turns 17. More on this at talkSPORT.com. Now, Robbie Keane says a Europa League reunion with his former Republic of Ireland boss may be written in the stars. Martin O'Neill reckons Robbie's Ferencváros would be a tough playoff for Celtic.
He's just starting his managerial career, and from the start he's made, he's done really, really well.
Celtic either face Stuttgart or Ferencváros. They were hammered 4-0 by Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche says that the results are a reminder that Forest do have real quality. They'll play either Fenerbahce or Panathinaikos next. Meanwhile, Aston Villa's injury pile-up is reaching crisis levels. Ollie Watkins came off in the first half, holding his hamstring during the win over Salzburg. Unai Emery's not sure if he'll be fit to play Brentford on Sunday. And on his YouTube, Anthony Joshua's paid tribute to the two friends and colleagues he calls brothers.
We became everything. We became housemates. We were living together. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame. It's a shame.
Sina Gami and Latif Ayodele were killed in a car crash AJ walked away from. He's back in the gym, but hasn't spoken about coming back to the ring. More on this at talksport.com.
Live football for you, by the way, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on talkSPORT. It's Liverpool against Newcastle United. It's our live and exclusive fixture from the Premier League. 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night. Make sure you join us for that. Usually a Premier League classic when those two meet. And a repeat of earlier in the season when we did the game on the Monday night where it was won in the last few seconds by Rio Ngamoa. That was a very, very tight game. This doesn't look like a tight game at the Australia Open. Sinner taking a very commanding lead early on. Toby Gillis.
Yeah, early Yannick Sinner's statement on Rod Laver Sam against Novak Djokovic. The defending champion took the first game having elected to serve to love. Then on the 10-time champs first service game, the Italian streaked to a 15-40 lead, breaking serve at the first opportunity. He looks another level in the opening exchanges. 3-love to Sinner with a break in the first set on Djokovic's serve. Remember, the winner plays Carlos Alcaraz on Sunday, who earlier beat Alexander Zverev in the match of the tournament, a 5.5-hour epic over 5 sets.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The problem regarding management, says Darren, is that they don't like being told by older managers examples of for example, is owners of successful businesses can't accept that people in a different industry know more than them. It's put to inexperienced managers so that they can be kept in their place, says Darren. And Martin O'Neill wouldn't have had the same impact in England. The Scottish League is basic and years behind, says Leon, the Leicester fan. The failure of Nancy is on the players. They wanted Martin in there because he's a soft touch, minimal training, not intense, let the boys get away with a lot. That's from his own mouth and previous players. They want a supply teacher, and they've got one. Every one of those Celtic players should be let go at the end of the season. They were getting away with it because the media always point the blame on the managers, actually. What we've been trying to do over the course of the last especially a few months, is open up the eyes on the role of sporting directors and what their responsibilities are. Morning, gents. Kenny Dalglish in his first spell at Liverpool brought Bob Paisley back as his assistant. That bit of experience could be vital for a young manager. That's Andy, a happy Villa fan. And morning, gentlemen. Gabby better make the most of Unai Emery because we all know he's going to go to Madrid in the end. Sorry, Gabs, from Darren. Just a quick word on the Martin O'Neill thing. He's a soft touch, said one of those text messages. Tell us about that.
Not one bit. Listen, did we train really, really hard during the week? No, because you're playing European games during the week as well. But what you would expect is that if you're not putting it in games, you'll definitely be told. But it's a different era. You're going back to when Martin O'Neill left Aston Villa in 2009-10, was it? I'm sure now he's learnt about different types of training, what the players need to do now. He'll have younger coaches around him, young fitness coaches, sports scientists around him as well. So I think that's a lazy comment from whoever that was.
Love the show, lads. 2 words on an old school manager. Niall says Philippe Clement. Taking Norwich by the scruff of the neck and getting us back up the league. Takes no crap and transform the team in 2 months. Let's talk about Manchester United and their captain, Bruno Fernandes, because he is celebrating 6 years at the football club today. He joined from Sporting Lisbon in January 2020 for 47 million quid. He replaced Harry Maguire as the club captain in 2023. He's now got 103 goals and 97 assists for the club in 312 games. He's the 10th quickest Premier League player to reach the 200 goal contribution milestone this century, and the 3rd fastest behind Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo for Manchester United. Now, Graham Souness always said that he didn't think he was captain material.
No, he is obviously not a leader. It's as plain as the nose on the end of your face. He is not a leader. His attitude when they went 3-0 down at Liverpool was appalling.
I agree with you. That's not leadership in any shape or form. The way that he reacted to the adversity, the way he appeared, he denies it and says that I wasn't looking to come off. But the whole kit and caboodle from pushing linesmen
at the time, Simon, you would not want to be in the trenches with him. Simple as. Fernandes, you'll see be a star when they're on top and they're on the front foot. And he's creative, and he is a real talent. And he is a real talent, but he showed a side to him that day at Anfield, which is very unattractive. But the man you have right now is willing to overlook that because he knows going forward that he will win him games, he will score him goals. But in his head, the manager's head, he will know the first time I come up against a really difficult situation again, is he going to go missing? And I think the manager knows the answer to that.
When you look at leaders, again, go back to the leadership.
Are you certain that that's correct from Graham Souness? Because having looked at it from a personal point of view, I look at him winning the FA Cup and his role in that particular game. I look at the way that he's dragged Manchester United through really difficult situations in a spell where he hasn't exactly had loads of talent around him. I think he's done a terrific job.
100%. We said it a few weeks ago. I mean, 103 goals and 97 assists in 312 games is unbelievable. And every season he's getting the numbers. This season, 5 goals, 11 assists in all comps. He's a leader on the pitch by putting in performances, but the only problem I have with him, he'd done it again on the weekend against Arsenal. He played a pass to Mbeumo, and he was at fault for a poor pass. And he's thrown his arms up at Mbeumo, and Mbeumo's actually giving him some back of like, come on, as a player, you don't players throwing your arm.
Why is that wrong? That happens all the time. I was going to
say. But as a player, having played it at the game, anybody throws your arms up at you, you always have, you don't like it. Ask any players playing now, you don't like it. That's what he let himself down at. Garnacho copied him.
Don't compare Garnacho to Bruno Fernandes.
I'm saying he copied him, I'm not comparing him. I'm saying he copied. It's not a good example when you're throwing your arms up at your teammates. What he does on the pitch, his performances, outstanding.
That because he's from a different culture, from a different sort of upbringing, and
it's
he's
a
got
Portuguese mentality,
demeanour. He has, if you look at Jose Mourinho and the way he conducts himself, it's different to the way that Michael Carrick conducts himself because they're brought up in different cultures. And if you're going to have the World League, which
who else do you see do it?
Loads of players do it. Go watch Spanish football.
No, in the Premier League.
Yeah, but that's the point. I spend a lot of time in Portugal, as you know, and they are that sort of mentality. They are an expressive population. So I think that's why it stands
does
out.
it quite a lot, doesn't he? Gets the
but also just
up in the air.
Graham Souness is going back to a different world, really. I don't want to say prehistoric views, but they don't make captains now like they did in his day. I've got a list of Premier League captains here. I bet you can't tell me who the captain of Fulham and Manchester City is. You were looking at my screen. Tell me who the captain of Manchester City is officially.
Manchester City, is it Bernardo Silva?
Yeah, but is he? He's not an old school Roy Keane.
He's another one who's quite
John
demonstrative,
Terry
similar
captain.
sort of thing, which shows you that it might well be a Portuguese.
Who's the captain of Fulham?
Fulham is Kenny?
Yeah, but again...
Oh, another correct one.
You've been looking over my
I
screen.
swear I haven't looked at your screen.
But you get my
He's
point.
the club captain, isn't he?
Yeah, but if you look, Reece James is the Chelsea captain. Again, he's not a captain in a John Terry type mould. Probably the nearest we've got to an old school captain maybe is Lewis Dunk at Brighton.
But is that sort of harking back to what you were saying earlier about the temperament of players nowadays and that they can only deal with certain sorts of feedback?
Of course, and I'm talking about when I played, which was nearly 10 years ago. Like, I didn't like it. I remember having arguments with players that done it to me, and they were saying when I done it to them, and you throw your arms up and you're like, okay, I understand what you're doing. Luis Suarez was the worst for it. It's just that feeling as a player, you don't like it.
If you're delivering numbers, do you accept that? I mean, Eric Cantona was a very different type of captain at Manchester United.
David Beckham was a different captain for England.
Yeah, of course, the numbers he's giving. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be playing because he throws his arms up. Of course, the numbers that he's giving, his performances, Manchester United have been poor for many seasons.
We'd have probably
and
gone
look at his
down
numbers.
without him
Yeah, look
last
at his
season.
numbers, the goals, and we'll compare with other players that play in his position, of course. But he can be petulant at times. And sometimes as a player, you don't like that.
It was interesting, actually. It's a similar sort of anniversary for Martin Ødegaard, who is the Arsenal captain, could be lifting the Premier League title at the end of the season. Tony Adams questioned his credentials, saying that they should pass the armband on to Declan Rice earlier in the season, something that Martin Keown disagreed with on this programme. But when you look at those two captains, have they won enough?
Well, I said it, didn't I, on this show, that Fernandes will have regrets of his time at Manchester United. Yes, amazing stats, amazing goals, but maybe leave Manchester United and winning one FA Cup and one Carabao Cup for a player of his ability. Is that enough, Crookie, Mr. Manchester United?
No, it isn't. And that's why I think there's every chance that this could be his last season at the club. I think you'll wait and see what direction they go in with a potential new manager. But
where's he going to go?
I don't begrudge him. Well,
Harry Kane's went to Bayern.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Can you imagine Bruno Fernandes linking up with Harry Kane at Bayern Munich? I mean, that would be a lethal combination. And I think the release clause for a European club is only about 57 million. Now, I know he's not a youngster, but I don't think that's a lot of money to spend because he's someone who guarantees goals, he guarantees assists, he guarantees that he's going to create opportunities. I'm a bit bored with the captaincy debate when it comes to Bruno Fernandes. We had this conversation numerous times. What is not disputable is that since Sir Alex Ferguson left the football club, he's been head and shoulders the best signing that United have made.
Does the role of the captain actually matter anymore as much?
No, because you've got more than one, haven't you?
Of course. Yeah, nowadays they've got 4 or 5 behind the scenes leaders.
Because Declan Rice can quite easily be the leader in
Declan Rice is the
spiritual
captain.
leader of Arsenal. But
when
he
you
doesn't
watch
wear
Arsenal,
the armband.
when you watch Arsenal, Declan Rice is the captain for me. I wouldn't look at Arsenal if you didn't put the armband on Ødegaard. Ødegaard isn't a captain for me.
Then maybe Ødegaard's better at doing some of the stuff off the pitch. That we
Maybe,
don't see.
yeah. But Declan Rice, the way he plays, his fight, his aggression.
Because you were club captain, but the team captain was somebody else at one stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was club captain and the team captain.
You never sold, did you?
Was
Michael
the
captain?
I had a captain in training. Come on, man. Yeah, Michael was the captain, Tim Sherwood, yeah. Because then I'd done things behind the scenes.
Like what?
Sorting out the tickets,
That's
paying
what
for
I mean.
extra tickets
That's
for
what I mean.
players, and if there's charities that we're trying to get the players to give to. You do it, the nights out, the Christmas parties, of course. But
why did they pick you for that?
Because I had all the drinks in the nightclubs and had the bouncers in my pocket. That's why. No, but I think when you look at Arsenal, Ødegaard is a fantastic player, but you look at his numbers compared to Bruno Fernandes, 40 goals, 40 assists in 222 games. Very good, but if I'm choosing one of those players, Fernandes straight in my team before Ødegaard.
Arsenal would love Fernandes.
Oh,
in this title race when games are tight,
yes,
the ability to turn 1 point into 3. I think they'd swap Ødegaard for him every day of the week.
Totally agree.
Interesting that you mentioned that because that's something we're going to talk about a little bit later on. The fact that Arsenal are edging their way towards the title. And an interesting quote yesterday I saw from Mikel Arteta where he talks about trying to encourage his players to play with a little bit more freedom, unlock that creativity that Ødegaard certainly possesses. 03717223344. What do you make of those two captains? 5 years for Ødegaard at Arsenal, 6 years for Bruno Fernandes today. Adam says he's a great talent, not a great player or a leader. Too many hissy fits, and most of his sprints are when he's heading to the referee to moan about something. Wouldn't get into United's best 11. Doubt he'd even make the bench. I think it's a little bit harsh.
That's harsh.
Just because you play well doesn't make you a good captain. Salah is world class. I wouldn't want him to be the Liverpool captain, though. That's from Max in London. 03717 223344. Keep your opinions going. Don't shake your head. You can't just argue with people, just dismiss their opinions.
You don't agree with their comments, Alex?
I don't agree with their comments.
Where's James?
Who's the Bournemouth captain, by the way? There you go.
Cook.
Adam Smith.
Is it?
I knew I'd catch you up with one.
Damn it.
Adam Smith?
Adam Smith's the club captain.
Well, the club captain, but the team captain's Lewis Cook.
Well, not when Smith plays, presumably.
Any more? Quickly, one more.
I've closed the list now.
Oh,
West Ham. You get
so you don't know it off the top of your head. You have to have it in front of you and read it. There's a shock. 03717 223344. This is Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. We're here till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
Mate, I have a wee chat with about Manchester United, and I've got to say, mate, and you'll have watched it yourself. Michael came in, that was obviously a big talking point, replacing Darren, temporary manager, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The two, not just the two results, but I think more than that, better than that, the two performances against City and Arsenal would probably be, I'm suggesting, beyond every United fan's dream, because they've been terrific.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I think. You know, when he took over, there's probably looking at the fixtures and two really, really tough games with City and Arsenal. But I don't think it's the fact that they won. I think it was the way they won, and how they won, and tactically how they got it spot on in every game. And I think it's worked to their advantage in terms of, you know, playing on the break, having the pace on the break and those attacking transitions to hurt teams. But I think they got it absolutely spot on. I think it's the best I've probably seen United out of possession as well, you know. Players find it struggling to get into the pockets and get turned, playing it through the lines. There was none of that in the two big games in recent weeks. But listen, this is beat both of them top teams, but now it's about sustaining momentum, creating that winning habit again. And like you said, I think for the fans, it's been difficult for the last few years, but brilliant for them as well.
Phil, someone that stands out for me for Manchester United, especially the last two games, is Harry Maguire. I mean, some of the stick he's got over the years has got personal, definitely on social media. And his mental strength, mate, must be like so strong to get through that. And he's playing some of his best football this season. Yeah,
I know him really, really well. Brilliant character, fantastic player, huge mentality to come back from the criticism that he received and everything surrounding and the talk about him. What a player! He's strong. He's aggressive. He's not just strong and aggressive. He's got the ability on the ball as well. And he picks the passes and starts the attacks. But I'm delighted for him.
The countdown is on and the window is about to slam shut. Transfer deadline day is here again and the football world means business. We'll bring you the bargains, the whispers, every deal, every twist. Which superstar signing is about to shake this season to its core? The biggest breaking stories, and we bring them to you.
It's been that kind of bonkers window.
An unbelievable window.
One of the all-timers. It's been a busy transfer window.
talkSPORT keeps you in the know. This is transfer deadline day. This is talkSPORT.
Monday, 2nd of February, talkSPORT's YouTube channel and connected TV, plus your radio as well. The place to be for all the deals as they break. Let's get an update on the transfer window now.
Self-assessment support on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
It's the Crookmeister with a list of what is going to or what is not going to happen between now and the deadline. Shall we start with Crystal Palace? Yet to submit the formal offer for Jurgen Strand-Larsen, casting doubt on the deal talkSPORT understands. But is this all just a big jigsaw puzzle, which is going to wait till after Sunday's match with Nottingham Forest, in which they'll get rid of Mateta? That will give them the funds to get rid of to get hold of Strand-Larsen.
Well, certainly that's what Forest think is going on, that maybe that won't develop until after the two teams have met on Sunday. But Crystal Palace sources telling me yesterday that the offer that's been made by Forest is still short of their valuation for Jean-Philippe Mateta. They're not willing to buckle on that. We know we've got an unhappy player who is trying to force his way out. It would be interesting to see if he does play at the City Ground on Sunday. But there are knock-on effects here, because we know that Evan Guessond is joining Palace from Aston Villa on loan initially with the option of a permanent deal in the summer. I did wonder if Villa might pull the plug on that after Watkins went off last night, but Unai Emery, speaking after the game, suggested that that will still go through, and therefore they're not desperate now for Jurgen Strand-Larsen, because they've got Eddie Nketiah at the moment. They've still got Mateta. There were positive talks between Palace and Wolves yesterday morning. Wolves were anticipating a written offer worth £45 million plus another 5 in add-ons. As of this morning, that offer has still not arrived. So at the moment, you have to say the deal for Strand-Larsen is in doubt. And again, Wolves are saying...
With all due respect, 35 million quid for Harvey Elliott. You said to me earlier on, would you spend that sort of money? And I thought, well, actually, do you know what? It depends what the going price for a player is nowadays. Oscar Bob is 20-something million quid. He's going to Fulham this week. Jurgen Strand-Larsen, £50 million for a player who hasn't hardly scored a goal this season.
He got 14 Premier League goals last season, 1 Premier League goal this season in 21 appearances. Signed in July for 23 million.
I think he's had 2 new contracts as well.
So 23 million he signed for in July. Yeah. So he's got 1 goal and he's over double your money.
Do you know what? I
only
have one question.
Make it make
Who's
sense.
his agent?
It's incredible, isn't it? 50 million.
I think it's George Mendes who is trying to do the deal on behalf of Wolves.
Are West Ham interested?
Well, but what's interesting here is we know that Leeds made an offer of around about £30 million plus add-ons. That was rejected earlier in the window. Yeah, but there's been a benchmark now, isn't there? The fact that Palace have even indicated they're willing to go up to £50 million. They can't now sell him to Leeds.
Abraham's 20 million. Tammy Abraham's 20 million. And you send me Strand-Larsen, he's 50 million.
I know where I'll be spending my money.
Yeah, do me a favour.
On the subject of Wolves and
that's no disrespect to him, by the way, because I want to just say, actually, he's a very hard-working fella. And if you read his backstory about how he became a professional footballer and the work that he did with his dad before school opened every single morning in order to get to the level that he is, then I understand that he's worked incredibly hard. But in terms of valuation for what he's given in the Premier League, I think it's just a bit steep.
Lost his place in the Wolves side as well, been on the bench.
Well, I think that's partly in preparation for his departure. But on the subject of Wolves strikers, this is someone who seems to be on their radar every transfer window. We've just broken it exclusively on the talkSPORT website. Shea Adams, now at Torino, Scotland international. They're trying to bring him back to the Premier League. There would be a transfer fee involved, and it's worth noting that 18 months ago, when he left Southampton on a free transfer, they could have done that deal, Wolves. Jeff Shee, who was calling the shots at the time, decided not to, and now they may end up paying a fee. I think that's a signing with one eye towards the Championship next season.
100%, but Strand-Larsen, I salute you if you get this move, because 1 goal this season in the Premier League to go for 50 million, Sam. I don't get it anymore.
Sometimes, though, some clubs just give people contracts, don't they, just to appease the fans, Gabby? You know what that was.
Talking about my last few contracts at Villa. Let's move on.
Let's talk about Raheem Sterling. What's happening with him?
Well, I think he's in talks with a number of European clubs. This is not quite so pressing in terms of time. The window closes, as you mentioned, 7 o'clock on Monday, but because he's now a free agent, having been paid up by Chelsea, he doesn't have to sign before the window closes. Napoli are one of the teams who've been mentioned to me. Bayer Leverkusen. I know Vincent Kompany in the summer was keen to take him to Bayern Munich. You wonder if that might be an option as well. I think West Ham have tried again, but stability is the word that keeps coming back when it comes to Raheem Sterling. I'm not sure that he feels West Ham are a particularly stable club at this moment in time.
Well, his next move has to be one where he plays football consistently. So he knows that, and that's why he's got to be.
Can we give him some respect, though? Because there's been a few comments on different shows about him, especially with Simon Jordan, that he's not lifting a leg. Like, this is someone who's won 10 major trophies.
13, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Like Manchester City's best winger once. Player of the tournament for England, for me, 2021, the Euros. He was a star player for us. Let's give him some respect. It didn't work on loan at Arsenal. For some reason, at Chelsea, it didn't work. They went in a different direction. Not lifting the leg because you sign a contract and you want your money out of a contract. I would do exactly the same, and most players were. I'm sure Chelsea, 18 months left, have says, there's a year. We're going to save 6 months' money. Perfect. Suits every party. Go and play somewhere now where you're going to enjoy your football. You might get £10,000 a week. Who cares? Go and enjoy playing football now.
Let's just quickly round up because we haven't got too much time. Danny Roll said yesterday, 36 hours of the window left, or a little bit longer than that. Are we going to be busy?
Yeah, I think they're trying to bring in a striker. I know there's talks with a number of English clubs, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on Rangers. And as you say, I think they feel they're in a position to challenge for the title, so therefore I think the board are going to back him. They were obviously criticised for their spending in the summer. Ironically, I think Jamiti, which was the signing a lot of Rangers fans didn't like, he's been linked with a few clubs, but I think he'll stay. And in terms of West Ham as well, they've been one of the busier Premier League clubs in this window. Keep an eye, I mentioned it in the notebook on Tuesday, Axel Disasi potentially on loan. They've got an extra loan spot now domestically because they've sent Igor back to Brighton.
They have indeed. Okay, we're going to speak to a former Hearts manager in the next few moments here on talkSPORT.
Self-assessment support on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment and business admin with ease all year round. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
I think it was the other way around, Simon. And Thomas Frank and Tottenham were struggling in Europe, but doing really well in the Premier League. No one would say boo.
No, they wouldn't, because they will look at the Champions League and say, well, it's the elite of Europe.
Right.
And it comes, despite the fact that when we look at it and we distill it, there's a lot of crap teams in that Champions League format, and there's a lot of opportunities to be successful in it. I mean, even Celtic nearly qualified last year through the Champions League format. That's how low it is in terms of quality, in terms of on the European stage. So, but it comes with a packaging. It's like everything in life. If you subscribe to a view, if you've decided in your mind's eye, and the media have decided and the public have decided that this Champions League is a marvellous tournament, it's littered with absolute superstars teams. So when you actually get knocked out of it, if you're not one of those teams that are winning leagues, people say, well, you had a good tilt, but here's the Champions League.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at it and go, well, actually, so look at it, actually, some of these teams ain't that good.
And is that why Tottenham Hotspur are thriving at the moment?
Because the narrative...
Because of the level of opponent.
It's because of the... I don't know that argument. You can make the argument that it's because of the style of play. You can also make the argument that in 8 games, there might be some lesser opposition. You can make a whole raft of arguments. You take the success. My point was, to go to your question, was why is it packaged in such a way that it could be perceived to be success by qualifying for a knockout competition, yet not being successful in the league, gets you some form of pass? It's because of what people's perception of it is. People take an initial view, and I said it yesterday, for me, went into the dressing room once against Grimsby in my 4th game of ownership at Crystal Palace. 500 games later, never having gone in again, it still gets cited out that this was the sort of attitude I had towards players and the manager I went in the dressing room. So if people believe that the Champions League, because it's been seeded in their mind, is such a wonderful tournament, nothing will shift them from the narrative that actually, when their team plays in this rather pedestrian tournament in terms of average sides and gets knocked out, that actually, well, you know, it is the Champions League.
Champions League still equals elite.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 2 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Arne Slot admits Liverpool cannot afford any more slip-ups in the league. The race for the top four enters a crucial phase as Liverpool look to take momentum from beating Qarabag.
We are fully aware of the fact that one win isn't enough at this club, so the next one is coming fast with Newcastle.
Jeremy Frimpong will be out for a few weeks, but Curtis Jones is back from illness and Ibrahim Konate will be in the squad again after time out following the death of his father. Liverpool versus Newcastle is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Eddie Howe's keeping his fingers crossed. Midfield general Bruno Guimaraes is back for that one.
He did really well to be with us in Paris, and I think that's more down to the fact that he was desperate to be there and support the players. He trained with us yesterday, but that was more of a test. So look, let's see how he is.
Joelinton is weeks away after a groin injury. Tino Livramento should be back in March. Mikel Arteta's begging the Premier League to increase the size of matchday squads from 18 to 20. It's because he's having to leave a lot of players out at the moment. Christian Norgard still hasn't started a game this season. Meanwhile, Max Dowman will sign his first pro contract at Arsenal in December when he turns 17. Ray Parler's told us Dowman, the player, is so mature for his age.
He knocks people off the ball, he's strong, he can drop his shoulder, goes past people, he's got that turn of pace, and some of the goals he scored, he's been brilliant in the youth team area, and I'm sure he's going to have a big say in England going forward as well.
Yeah.
He can be a big player going forward in many, many years' time.
And Yannick Sinner is a set-up in the Australian Open semi-final with Novak Djokovic. The winner faces Carlos Alcaraz in the final.
talkSPORT News.
The Prime Minister says the UK can't stick its head in the ground when it comes to China, and 6 million households will continue to get a rebate of £150 to help with winter energy bills. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy and breezy as rain moves northwards. Brighter in the south for a bit. Heavier rain, though, moving in this afternoon. Feeling cold in the north.
Quite a few text messages this morning on Bruno Fernandes. Oh, sorry, I just had one of those jazzits and one of the hundreds and thousands that got caught in my throat then for a second. Throwing his arms in the air, says El, moaning shows that Bruno Fernandes has passion and he's got care for the club. The fans can dismiss this when he puts the numbers up like he does, truly in a league of his own. Fernandes' touches flicks created the winning goals against Arsenal at the weekend. That's what he can do. That's what beat them. He is underrated, says Mark and Easton's in Manchester. Come on, United.
100%.
He says, we're big Bruno Fernandes fans. And we've had another text message here. It says, why is Gabby's name not on the jingle that we play when we come out of the breaks?
Why is that, mate? That's a concern to a lot of people.
Is it?
Why is that, Sam?
Still on trial, that's why.
Oh, okay. When's the trial over?
What's the probationary period, do we think?
Well, it's not when I was on trial at Villa, this is. It took me 7 months to get a deal.
And we might loan you out to Watford as well.
To be fair, unlike Troy Deeney, you've turned up on time 3 weeks in a row.
Yes. I did look at the later train.
We're just being cautious. We want to see what happens, because you know what happens is you give him a contract and he gets all lazy, and then you never know.
Give him what he wants.
He
hasn't bought us a drink yet.
He hasn't. That's true.
I'll go down. I'll go home. Like, you know what I mean? Without no money.
Go home, what?
I'll go home without no money if I pay for drinks, Cookie. I'm coming to make more money, not lose it.
Right, okay, let's talk about Hearts, because they played Dundee United at the weekend, looking to extend their lead at the top of the table. Are they finally going to break the old firm grip on the Scottish Premiership? Well, one man who knows quite a lot about Hearts and Dundee United, and Ferencvaros as well, the former Hungary assistant manager, and the man who was manager of the year in Scotland when he was in charge of Hearts, Csaba Laszlo, joins us on the show now. Hello, Csaba, you all right?
No, yeah, I'm okay. Thank you guys for inviting me for this show. I listen to you. Very funny. Yeah, you have a lot of knowledge about football too.
Well, enjoy the fact that you're coming here. 2 years at the top at Hearts. You made them probably the best of the rest during your period as the manager at the club. I know you keep in touch with them. I know you live in the city. Can they finally do the impossible and win the Scottish Premiership title this year?
It's difficult, but I think they have a very good chance. Actually, they are in top in the league, and I wish for the Scottish football to see a different team who winning this league, not always Celtic and Rangers. And I think this is a good thing that actually Hearts is in the top. It will be difficult, I tell you honestly, because have also some injuries actually, and you know, in the football, it's not always like who have the best team, who have the largest team, and who have the best substitutes you can win the game with this, and also the league. But actually, I think they are really performing really good. They get results. It is also very important that you can win games with 1-0. I don't like to win games with 4-0. You know, the most interesting games are always 2-1, 1-0. And actually, Hearts, doing very well. Also in Dundee, he played against 11-10 against 11, and he win the game, and also the home game. Last time he was sent a player out and win. So this mean that the team have character, and this is also very important.
Yeah. They got the better of Celtic, didn't they? Despite the fact that they went down to 10 players, they drew 2-2 in that game. How much of it is down to Derek McInnes and Hearts and Tony Bloom and the recruitment and the ownership, and how much of it is down to the old firm taking their eye off the ball, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the all changes which one come on this was really good for Hearts and also for the football club, because they change a lot, you know, and actually are recruiting also player they are fitting to the team. This is very important, you know, and how I see also with Derek McInnes, he was a lot of time my opponent. I think he was by St. Johnstone first time I played against him with Hearts, but generally he made a really good job in Aberdeen, also in Kilmarnock, and just now with Hearts. And this is also very important, you know, that he knows the Scottish league, because it's very interesting. A lot of time the people telling me, the Scottish football or the English football, but no, this is completely different from the European football. Let's say they're playing in Italy or Germany or even in Portugal or Spain, and the adaptation from the player is very important to bring players in which one can adapt very quick to this Scottish football. Still, it's a lot of long balls, a lot of set pieces, and the most important also that also the weather is completely different, the behavior from the people, and if you we talk about the definitely from the player who come in, they developed really good and they adapted very good, and this is also the main point why
we were a little bit worried that Gabby couldn't go to Scotland because of the weather. He wouldn't feel very
too cold. There. How big is it though for the Scottish football with Hearts mounting a title challenge? Because for however long I've watched Scottish football, it's been Rangers, Celtic. You know Celtic are going to win. You know Rangers are going to win. But it's going to bring more eyes, isn't it, now, on the Scottish League if Hearts can continue this?
Yeah, look, this is the same. I come to Scotland and this was for me also boring to see always Celtic and Rangers in the top. Our owner, Mr. Romanov, they want to challenge this, you know, but you cannot challenge in 1 year and 2 years. You need a little bit longer because Celtic and Rangers, they are massive, you know, they are institution, not just club, institution, really, really massive clubs. And I told them you need patience a little bit, but you need also to work, be focused in the work, you know. And I think in my time we had really good games, and the very important is that you don't fear, you know. The fear it's the most biggest enemy from every football player and also coach. If you go in the Celtic Park or you play against Rangers, oh my God, here they are better. No. Forget it. I was also a little bit different because I wanted to develop my player mentally and physically, and this is the key also here in Scotland, that the most let's say, I don't want to talk about managers, but they are developing the players physically, and he forget the mental side. So and the good player must be developed physically and mentally, because if you go tired mentally, you lose the game. This is not enough to be physically top. And actually, I think this is the teams which won in Scotland make let's say the difference, especially Celtic and Rangers. They have players who are developed in this direction very good, and actually Hearts, I think, is the team which one changed a little bit also the philosophy, and this is also good for the Scottish football. So generally,
does it feel like the time is now? If Hearts are going to break up that old firm stranglehold, it has to be this season, because you can't imagine that Rangers and Celtic are going to be as far off it at the start of next season as they were in the early weeks and months of this campaign.
Yeah, look, actually, I think Rangers is very dangerous for Hearts, because the Rangers, they get a new manager, and I know this guy. He's a German. Even I study in Germany, and all more than 25 years I spent in Germany, so in the German football, and I know how the people they are thinking. And you saw that this guy come in and he changed a lot, and he take a lot out from his team. This is also discipline. This is also tactic, and generally Hearts actually have to fight against two big clubs, Celtic and Rangers. So this is for them. This is not easy, and I think if they don't get tired mentally, I mean, Hearts don't get tired mentally, and they can pick the points. They can stay in the top. But to fight against two giants, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Just before we let you go, one more question on someone who you know very well. Tomorrow night, talkSPORT brings you commentary of Liverpool against Newcastle. You worked with Dominic Szoboszlai as a young kid. You spotted him at a young age. You thought that he would always be a superstar. What qualities does he have, and do you think that he has everything it takes to be a future Liverpool captain?
I don't know if he will be the Liverpool captain, but he have definitely future, and he was always a player who was very focused. And this is very interesting, because he have some qualities, and he worked on his qualities. And I believe always if you have a young player, or you have a player to develop, you have to look what is the best what you can do, and not to do what he can't do. You have to develop what he do on best. And in this direction also, I must tell you that Dominic Szoboszlai's father was his first mentor, and the coaches and who helped him, and were very, very focused. And I think this is a player who can make the difference. He have his strongest side. This is especially free kicks and set pieces. He have a very good shot, but he have also time, I think, to develop and to develop his personality. That is very important for me, to don't give up, especially in the English football. You need be focused in every game, but he is young, and he have definitely the quality to be the captain. He have the quality to be also one of the best players from Liverpool. And actually, I think he showed that, what is very important, that you see this player, he can play in different positions. If he put them to the right back position, he bring his performances is okay. If he play in the midfield, he is okay. He don't go down, and this show that also he's more mature actually, and the Liverpool made him a better player. And I heard also a lot of time he want to change, and maybe some other teams he coming. No, I give the advice, stay in Liverpool, because I think this is the best for you, and also for the team, also for the fans actually. And okay, this season is not great in Champions League. Okay, they are really good in the league. They are struggling. But I hope the best for Szoboszlai. Yes, it's also from Alex, who went to Bournemouth. Is also a Ferencváros player. I don't know him very well. I don't develop him, but he's also a really, really good player.
Milos Kerkez, you're talking about there as well. He's had a bit of difficulty over the last couple of weeks. but he should be okay. Listen, Csaba, thank you very much. We've got to go because the Champions League draw is starting. We're going to bring that here next. Thank you very much. Good luck at the weekend. Hearts take on Dundee United, 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll keep you updated during our commentary of Liverpool versus Newcastle. We're going to find out who Real Madrid, who PSG, who Newcastle get in the next round of the Champions League in the next few moments. Stick with us. This is talkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor and Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com.
What have we got this morning? I'm hearing that Crystal Palace are prepared to throw some money around, right?
Yeah, they've thrown money around already in this transfer window. It was a club record deal that took Brennan Johnson from Tottenham to Crystal Palace. Now it looks like they're going to smash that transfer record again. Wolves still waiting for the formal written offer, but we can report an agreement in principle between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers for their one-to-way striker, Jørgen Strand Larsen. I'm told that offer, when it does come in, will be £45 million plus £5 million in add-ons. So a £50 million deal for a player I know that Simon Jordan doesn't rate particularly highly.
Neither do you.
£50 million player.
Right? It's called an opinion. I was prepared to pay £5 million for Adi Akinbaye. What does that say about me? If you go back 20 years and look at the comparative scale, they're probably in the sort of ballpark of money.
You're being harsh on this lad.
I think he's useless. I do, but that's just my personal opinion. If Palace don't think he is, then I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I'll be happy for him to go and make a big deal of scoring lots of goals for Palace and making me look a fool. I'll be happy to be on the receiving end of that. Listen, if they've sold Gehi, which has funded the transfer of Brennan Johnson, because they've probably got Man City to pay all up and pay for Brennan Johnson on the drip. They might do the same here. Yeah. They sell Mateta. So what? I mean, look. I'm not. Do you like him as a player, Alex?
Well, Alex, I was about to say, Alex. I mean, you work in games live for talkSPORT, and no doubt have seen Strand Larsen live on a few occasions while Simon's been trolling around Legoland. What do you see in this player?
I thought he looked a handful last season. Obviously, that prompted interest from Newcastle in the summer, but he's not been able to replicate that this season. I remember speaking to Sean Derry, actually, former Wolves coach at Aston. I think it was the first day of last season, and said, "What's this boy all about?" And he said, "You know what? In training, he looks the real deal. He could well be someone who scores goals regularly in the Premier League." So I'll reserve judgment. I still think they should have taken the money, Wolves, when Newcastle offered it last summer.
It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. H&J are here then. Tomorrow we've got live football for you from the Premier League and the Championship, as always. But our big offering is Liverpool against Newcastle. Crook and I are going to Tottenham Man City on Sunday. And next week we've got both of the games involving Man City and Newcastle, and Chelsea and Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg. Newcastle just waiting to find out their opponents in the Champions League round or playoff round to get into the round of 16. And they're doing the draw. Robert Perez and Giorgio Marchetti pulling the balls out of the hat, but they're doing it in reverse order. So basically they're going through from 24th position up until I think it's like 17th or something, and then they switch round and then they do the other teams. And then
they always look really miserable, don't they? The dignitaries from the clubs. You are allowed to smile, guys.
Well, because if they
the Champions League,
the idea of like who you've got gives away whether you're enjoying it or you're happy. You know, you're disappointed or happy.
A bit like when I lost that award last year and I clapped politely.
You didn't. You walked out. So this is the SJA Awards, and he was nominated. And he told everybody he was going to win. And
I didn't tell anyone I was going to win.
How didn't you win that, though? I thought you should have won that, man.
He lost. So he thought he should have won it as well. He was absolutely furious. I've never known anybody.
Who won it?
I don't remember, but it doesn't matter, Gabby. It's the taking part that matters.
Yeah.
You know, when you get nominated regularly, sometimes you just don't get to win the award.
Yes.
But when it's your first time and you think that you're going to win everything, and you don't.
You have a special suit on, Crook?
You throw your toys out.
I always have a
pram.
special suit.
You dress up for the occasion?
You know, the other thing...
I don't pay for them myself, but...
Do you know...
The Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or, they know before. Sometimes they don't turn up.
That's why they don't turn up. And he would, if he had known he hadn't won, he would not have turned up, by the way.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you this. He cancelled a holiday to Portugal.
I did. That's a true story.
It's true.
What, to go to it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, we're starting to get some of the fixtures coming out now then. So we'll talk a little bit through the draw because Robert Perez is pulling it out. Dortmund against Atalanta was the first one that came out. Obviously, that didn't come out in any order that we'd been following, so God knows what they're doing.
Nice draw for
Olympiacos against Leverkusen. Should we just do it in order so we can get through it, first of all, rather than you just jumping in? Leverkusen versus... Who was it again? Olympiacos. He lost me then because he started talking halfway through.
It is a radio show. You do kind of need to keep talking, mate.
We have to finish the first one before we get to the second one.
Very bossy, aren't you, Sam?
Well, he just, if he's not a centre of attention, don't like it. Juventus, who are they going to play? So they can only play certain teams because they've got to be different to the intermarkets. They get Galatasaray away.
That was one of the teams Newcastle could have potentially got, wasn't it, Galatasaray?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good call. Then
this is better on TV than it is on radio.
Atletico Madrid, who got beaten by Bodo Glimt earlier in the week. They've just come out of the hat. They're going to be stuck with Club Brugge, and that's a nice draw for Diego Simeone, isn't it?
Is it? Club Brugge are a good team, mate.
It's not a blockbuster tie, though, is it?
They're a good team, though.
Club Brugge. Over.
Sorry, mate.
And what would you think Newcastle would like to play? I think they would like to
play
Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco are poor. What's through their game?
I saw them against Real Madrid, and they were so loose in that game. I actually looked at Real Madrid during the course of that match and thought,
could have been 10. Could have been 10.
But Real Madrid also could have conceded as well.
Yep.
Paris Saint-Germain have got Monaco. What a game that is going to be. Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco. Those two absolutely hate each other.
So does that mean it's Newcastle against Karabakh?
It's likely to be,
yes.
Newcastle against Karabakh, which means a hell of a trip for Eddie Howe.
A good draw.
And his team to Baku. It's a nice place to go. And this first leg will be away from home. The second leg will be at St James's Park. So Newcastle have just come out of the hat. They will play Karabakh. So Newcastle against Karabakh. And having watched Karabakh in midweek, I think that is about the best draw that they could.
Didn't they do well against Chelsea, though?
They got a point off Chelsea. No, Chelsea were quite poor that night.
It means they could play Chelsea or Barcelona in the next round, I think, is what I'm being told. And if they get through to the round of 16, imagine that, Chelsea against Newcastle in the Champions League.
I'd love an all-English tie.
Would you? We've got an all-French one. So we've got the clash between Monaco and PSG. Real Madrid have just been pulled out, and they have got a reunion with Benfica. Exactly what we dreamt of after the heroics of Trubin on Wednesday night. Real Madrid against Benfica. What a big fixture that is going to be.
They'll be dying for revenge, Real Madrid.
I think they'll get it over two legs as well, won't they?
Yes.
You know what, though? That's what I was trying to say. I don't think they're that great.
Defensively, Defensively, they are dreadful.
What was Asensio doing?
He's a bit of a liability when you watch him. And then Rodrigo as well getting sent off.
Inter go away to Bodo Glimt in the first leg, and then they get a trip to the San Siro, Bodo Glimt, so another big tie for them. So pretty impressive then. Benfica against Real Madrid, Bodo Glimt against Inter Milan, Monaco against PSG, Karabag against Newcastle, who then follow that up with the possibility of Chelsea or Barcelona should they get.
Well, look at those potential quarter-finals. Arsenal, Manchester City potentially as well.
Galatasaray against Juventus, Club Brugge against Atleti, Dortmund, they play Atalanta, and Olympiacos against Leverkusen. But Manchester City could play Bodo Glimt again or Inter in the last 16, and then could play Arsenal on their route to the final. Chelsea could play Tottenham or Liverpool if they get through to the quarterfinals. Talking Newcastle. So Newcastle and Chelsea could end up playing each other in the last 16, then playing Tottenham or Liverpool. You could end up going all the way to the final playing English teams.
All the way.
They're on the same side of the draw as Arsenal as well, Manchester City. So does that mean we can't have an all-English final? I didn't see the graphic was only up for a little bit. But did that sort of suggest that we can't have an...
Or was it an either-or scenario? Because they had Arsenal and Man City on both sides of the draw.
Both sides of the draw. Okay, so we'll have to wait until after the last 16 for that. But interesting indeed.
Well, Newcastle will be happy, I think, with Karabakh, particularly with the second leg being at home.
But I do think, like we were going to speak about earlier, we shouldn't be surprised at 5 Premier League teams in the top 8.
No, we shouldn't.
Newcastle not far.
Absolutely
because
not.
I've done a little bit of research earlier on of like, even look at Sporting Lisbon, for instance, Sam. Summer transfer window, they only spent 83 million euros. Most of that was a 67 million euros for Gyökeres. Barca only spent 25 million last summer on a goalkeeper. That was the most of their transfer budget. Bayern Munich, Luis Diaz, 70 million. Nicholas Jackson, 17 million loan fee. Only spent 88 million euros last summer. Then you go to Inter Milan, who are the leaders of the Serie A this season. They spent 93 million euros. Then the 5 teams in the Premier League: Chelsea, 339 million euros. Liverpool, 483 million euros. Manchester City, 211 million euros. Arsenal, 294 million euros. And Spurs, 210 million euros. We spend the most. We should be doing the most.
You're right, and I think we've seen that English teams have dominated the league phase. Obviously, Liverpool won the league phase last year. But what it hasn't really translated to is English domination come the latter stages of the Champions League. Yeah, but it doesn't. If you look at the last 4 finals, Manchester City, the only English winners. Liverpool lost the final to Real Madrid the season before.
Well, the last 5 finals.
Well, the last 2 finals, we haven't had English representation.
But should we,
despite the dominance?
Look at this season, though. We should. Because you look at Real Madrid defensively, can't defend.
I agree.
Barcelona can't defend. I don't fancy either of them. PSG are struggling. But
then PSG was struggling last year in the league phase.
Crook will tell you I've got a mantra on this.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
The English team should only really lose in Europe if they're playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, potentially Bayern and PSG thrown in as well, or not really?
Yeah, maybe Bayern, not necessarily PSG.
I still fancy us against Real Madrid.
Because of the money, because of the dominance. Yeah, do you know what?
I fancy Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal
because of the football.
And Liverpool. All of those teams, I fancy them over 2 legs against Real Madrid.
Well, I don't think Chelsea can get Barcelona till the final now, which is probably a fantastic situation.
Look at Benfica in a week, Sam.
But what about
what
this does for Newcastle United? Their fixtures. They've got Liverpool away tomorrow night, live on talkSPORT. Then Newcastle go to Manchester City. Then they play Tottenham. Then they play Aston Villa in the FA Cup. And then they go away to Karabakh. Then they come back and play Manchester City again. We'll get reactions to that. 03717 223344. That is one hell of a fixture list for Newcastle United. That is the sort of punishment, I suppose, for going through to the playoff round. This is talkSPORT.
Scotty, I want to ask you about Pep because you know him very well, working under him. Will he be a Man City for the long run with this rebuild? I think you will personally, because he doesn't look like the sort of manager that will want to leave when he's not winning the big trophies. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, obviously as well, I don't think there was many people expecting him to stay as long as he has. But to be honest, if you look at it, where else would he go and have as much control and as it's for me, it just seems like his club now. I know he come from Barcelona and he would say Barcelona's his club, but he's just transformed everything there. And to be honest, I wouldn't even like to say how long he could stay, because with him, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd done another 4 or 5 years, because the passion he has for it and how much he loves the club, it just wouldn't surprise me.
I'm watching him that touchline, Gabby, Scott, and he's hungry, man. He's motivated. You can see it. Absolutely, you can see it.
Yeah.
Scott, I tell you what I ask you, mate. Goalkeeper, couple of old goal scorers here. Tell me, close up. He remarkably, in my opinion, comes in for a little bit of criticism. The finishing last night from Haaland, I thought was absolutely genius. The way he runs through, just lifts it. What's he like? What sets him above being one of the best finishers and goal scorers I think we've ever seen?
Yeah, I think obviously watching that goal as well last night, people were talking the last week or two saying, is he struggling for confidence or what? And then you haven't scored a goal for a couple of weeks, and then you go clean through and just dink it. It just says everything about him.
Max Dowman signed a pre-agreement with Arsenal and will sign his first pro deal on December 31st when he turns 17. More on this at talksport.com. Now, Robbie Keane says a Europa League reunion with his former Republic of Ireland boss may be written in the stars. Martin O'Neill reckons Robbie's Ferencváros would be a tough playoff for Celtic.
He's just starting his managerial career, and from the start he's made, he's done really, really well.
Celtic either face Stuttgart or Ferencváros. They were hammered 4-0 by Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche says that the results are a reminder that Forest do have real quality. They'll play either Fenerbahce or Panathinaikos next. Meanwhile, Aston Villa's injury pile-up is reaching crisis levels. Ollie Watkins came off in the first half, holding his hamstring during the win over Salzburg. Unai Emery's not sure if he'll be fit to play Brentford on Sunday. And on his YouTube, Anthony Joshua's paid tribute to the two friends and colleagues he calls brothers.
We became everything. We became housemates. We were living together. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame. It's a shame.
Sina Gami and Latif Ayodele were killed in a car crash AJ walked away from. He's back in the gym, but hasn't spoken about coming back to the ring. More on this at talksport.com.
Right, okay, let's get back to Toby Gillies, who is watching live coverage of the Australian Open semi-final. Jannik Sinner made a good start. What's the situation now?
Yeah, Novak Djokovic isn't half fighting here. Jannik Sinner won the first set 6-3, and it was comfortable in honesty. The second set, though, much more competitive, and Djokovic broke serve to go 3-1 up. The Italian tried to hit back straight away, reaching love 40, but the Serb saved the lot and backed up the break. Currently at 4-2 in the second set then, although Djokovic 15-30 down. Little bit of trouble here as he tries to maintain that break. Sinner, though, of course, with that one-set lead, and the winner plays Carlos Alcaraz in Sunday's final.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Every set exclusively live on TNT Sports. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, it's now time to catch up with all the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
I just had to do a double take. I mean, I couldn't work out. Was it a bird? Was it a plane? No, it's Dan Towles from BetMGM in the studio, in the flesh.
So it's lovely to see you as well, Sam. So
we're delighted to see you. If you have to speak into the microphone, though. That's how radio
modern
works.
technology, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
So I've got meetings in London. So,
yeah.
So I thought
meetings in London.
So I thought I'd pop by and say
What pub?
Is it the Redwood over the road?
We're usually there about 7 minutes past 1 o'clock. Okay, so it's a big weekend of football. Obviously, the Champions League draw has just happened. I won't put you on the spot and say what that does to the latest odds, but Newcastle are in action away at Liverpool at the weekend. And obviously, we've just pointed out they've got this horrendous run now of away games where they seem to have to go everywhere, including this 7-hour trip to Baku.
Azerbaijan. Yeah, it's a big old trip, isn't it? I mean, Newcastle failed to score in their 6 Premier League away games this year. As you alluded to, Champions League, great result at PSG in the week. But you flip that to Liverpool, and I think I mentioned last week on the show, Liverpool had lost 3 times after European fixtures after a Champions League game going into the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That became 4 after they lost at Bournemouth. We know that the defence is struggling selection-wise this weekend as well. So I think it's going to be a tricky game. I remember I won't give away my age, but the old Newcastle, Kevin Keegan, Stan Collymore days of 4-3s, etc. I think this could be a high-scoring game.
Well, I hope so, because it's live on talkSPORT. But also, he said it in the press conference, actually, in the build-up to the game against Qarabag, on a slot. He said, it's not necessarily that the Champions League has been difficult for us, but what we haven't been able to do is rest. So we've used a lot of players to do well in the Champions League, and that's had a knock-on effect on the game after.
It has. And that's a slight surprise by the odds. Liverpool 8-11, Newcastle just over 3-1 with a draw at 33-10. I mean, throwing this to Crookie and Gabby, I know you're coming on to Liverpool Newcastle a little bit later, but I think Newcastle a big price at just over 3-1, given all the problems that Arne Slott's got with team selection, etc.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, no recognised right back. Will Canate play? I've actually gone for a draw. I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I can see more drop points with Liverpool, and actually, a point apiece doesn't really help either in terms of the shoot with the top 5, does it?
No, I agree. 6th versus 9th. No. So Newcastle just over 3-1, Liverpool 8-11, and Crookie, if you fancy the draw, it's just over 3-1.
They do like to win an evening kickoff, though, Newcastle United.
I do like an 8 o'clock game on a Saturday night.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of people don't like the early game, but an 8 o'clock game on a Saturday night, sat in a pub, a couple of pints.
Do you listen to talkSPORT when you're doing that?
I do. I put the TV on mute and listen to you.
See, I put the TV on mute when he's on ITV.
Actually, that's not true. You said to me, you were being nice to me earlier on, weren't you? You said to me, though, you were a little bit disappointed I didn't listen to talkSPORT 2 last night when you were doing the Aston Villa game, which I do apologise for.
I always appreciate your feedback.
Yes. Each week we'll be placing a prediction of some of the upcoming games on Golden Goals. If we correctly guess the exact scoreline, BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. Now, some of us have already made a donation, a deposit.
You have
this season.
You have, and very welcomed it is as well. But there is some people in this room that have done next to nothing.
26 games in a row now?
I'm glad you're counting. It's 0 out of 26.
What am I?
I'm consistent.
You're a lot better. Well, Gabby, you've got one already this season.
No, which one was that?
I can double check for you. You did definitely
Come
get
on,
one.
Crookie, mate. Like,
you need to liven up.
Your job, mate.
Even Troy's put in 500 quid.
In fairness, he gave me Arsenal United last week. I think I predicted a draw. I was never going to call a United victory.
You did, but then Gabby, last week you went against your own team. You went 2-1 Newcastle, didn't you? Just flip the other way.
Comfortably beat them.
I know.
What did I do last week?
You were Spurs Man City. Newcastle Villa. You were Chelsea West Ham.
Right. They didn't play last week.
Arsenal Man United. Arsenal Man United was Crookie. Bournemouth Liverpool you had. Either way, you didn't get it right.
No, right,
Don't have a pop at me. Right, moving on. Let's go again this week, shall we?
Shall we?
So
got the right list.
Let's start with Sam. We're going to give you they are playing tomorrow. Leeds Arsenal.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, just check. They got thumped 5-0, didn't they, at the Emirates Stadium earlier in the season? But I don't think it'll be that scoreline again. They're a little bit more defensively resolute. Did run out of ideas late in the game against Everton, and they created chances but didn't score enough. I think
played well first half, didn't they, Leeds?
They really did.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal will probably be a little bit more open after what Mikel Arteta said yesterday. So I'm going to go for Arsenal to win 3-1.
Leeds never won a Premier League home game against the side starting at the top of the day, starting at the top of the league. So Leeds unbeaten the last 5 home games. A 3-1 Arsenal victory is 10-1. There's a little bit of pressure on Arteta's side, and it's been well documented, hasn't it? Points dropped in recent weeks, but that's a 10-1 shout. Mr. 0 out of 26, Mark Goldbridge. James, the Man United fans, probably listening in. Chelsea, West Ham, we're going to give you.
Yeah, again, a tricky one. London derby, West Ham in a bit of form. Don't trust Chelsea defensively, but they're on a good run under Liam Racine yet. So I think I've gone 3-1 to Chelsea.
You have gone 3-1. Last season, I think it was 2-1. That was back in February. Chelsea have won the last 4 Premier League games versus West Ham by an aggregate score 15-2. So you expect a Chelsea win.
Smacked them up earlier in the season, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But Crookie 3-1 is 17-2. And Gab, I'm going to this game Sunday. Spurs v Man City.
We're going as well.
Are you?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Share a cab.
We'll
be straight in the BetMGM hospitality afterwards.
More than welcome. More than welcome.
Can I finish some? Crookie was going home. He's not now.
Can I finish, Sam?
Are you here? Sorry,
Okay,
go.
mate.
Yeah. Remember, you're still on trial.
Spurs 14th in the league, struggling in the Premier League. Poor performance against Burnley, 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Last home game, West Ham, poor performance again. Maybe if they play the Champions League music, because they're doing so well in it, they might win the game. It wouldn't be a bad shout of doing that for the sake of it, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Give the fans a little bit of joy.
Yeah, Spurs winners in the last 5 Premier League games. None of the last 6 games has been a draw. So stats slightly against you, but a 2-2 draw is 21-2, 1,100-1 for the 3 correct scores.
Can I just say, before I've been accused of being salty, and I am going to get accused of being salty, people say, how on earth have Tottenham finished in the top 4 in the Champions League? Look at their games.
Yeah.
It would have been harder not to finish in the top 8.
Yeah, someone else mentioned that to me earlier in the week.
Crookie sent a screenshot of all of their pictures.
Did he?
Literally on the full time.
Again, do you know what? It makes it more infuriating that Portuguese fella managed to lose the final in Bilbao. That could have been United.
But at the same time, you can only beat what's put in front of you, Crookie.
Exactly.
Even if that's Tottenham in the Europa League final.
Yes.
And you didn't do it.
Aren't you going to the game? You should be nice about Spurs if you go in there, mate.
Spurs, Man City, my 2 favourite clubs.
Can I ask you a question? They don't draw many games, do they, Spurs? They're not massive in terms of draws.
They're not massive. I mean, I heard something this morning about Van der Ven, Real Madrid rumours going around. I don't know, Crook, if you heard anything about
He
that.
deserves better than Spurs, say that.
Kate will be on the phone. Kate will be on the phone.
Now?
Yeah, but I agree with Gabby. If you're talking about one player at Tottenham who can go and play for a big club, it's Van der Ven.
Is he a natural start for Netherlands? Because again, someone told me that he doesn't get in the starting 11 sometimes.
Van Dijk's
there.
It's there.
It's there, yeah.
He does play, though.
You got your accreditation yet for the weekend?
Might get rescinded.
He's all right now. He knows that Dan's going, so he get him in the box. So he's not worried about anything else.
I'm not one to take hospitality off.
No.
Moving on nicely.
Yeah, all right, okay. Talking of not wanting to take any hospitality off of BetMGM, the Premier League darts starts next week.
It does.
And we'll all be there.
We will at some point, yeah. It's come around really quickly. So 150,000 tickets sold for the 17 venues.
It is amazing, though, isn't it?
Incredible.
The attention on it.
Oh, but I mean, obviously everyone talks about the Littler effect, but I just think the quality of play that's gone up from all the players, whether that's a result of Luke Littler or just naturally, is unbelievable. But as a night out, I keep mentioning what a good night out is. I think the first time I ever went was Cardiff a couple of years ago. Went into the toilet, I had Super Mario on my left-hand side and a giraffe on the right-hand side.
That was just a night out with me and Crook.
Yeah, exactly. And then we went to the darts. But it kicks off in Newcastle this week. We've got the outside broadcast on Wednesday, which Crookie and Gabby, I think you're coming up for.
No invite, no.
St James's Park.
Trying to keep that quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Newcastle and me, they don't really like me too much. But
you've got to be better on your best behaviour because we're hosting it at St James's Park.
I'll be disguised as well.
Which players are we hoping to join us on air that day?
A bit of luck, you'll have Luke Humphreys and Stephen Bunting joining you on the show.
Lovely.
Yeah, so it should be a good show, but it all kicks off at the Utility Arena on Thursday night. Luke Littler's the outright favourite, as everyone would expect, at 4-5, but the whole format allows other players to win nightly events, and it all goes to the knockout on the finals night at the O2, where anyone could win it. So 17 nights, we'll be talking about it every week from start to finish. Really looking forward to it, and let's hope we see some more 9-darters, because if they do happen, they get a set of £30,000 worth of gold darts, which is enough appeal to the players.
That's fantastic, and we're looking forward to it, and we can't wait for it. So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, mate. Top man.
Thank you.
We'll see you a little bit later on. That's Dan Towers from BetMGM, and all the latest odds supplied thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk, and remember, you can download the app. 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Sam, what have we got this morning? I'm hearing that Crystal Palace are prepared to throw some money around, right?
Yeah, they've thrown money around already in this transfer window. It was a club record deal that took Brennan Johnson from Tottenham to Crystal Palace. Now it looks like they're going to smash that transfer record again. Wolves still waiting for the formal written offer, but we can report an agreement in principle between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers for their one-to-away striker, Jørgen Strand Larsen. I'm told that offer, when it does come in, will be £45 million plus £5 million in add-ons. So a £50 million deal for a player I know that Simon Jordan doesn't rate particularly highly.
Neither do you.
£50 million player.
Right? It's called an opinion. I was prepared to pay £5 million for Adi Akinbaye. What does that say about me? If you go back 20 years and look at the comparative scale, they're probably in the sort of ballpark of money.
You're being harsh on this lad.
I think he's useless. I do, but that's just my personal opinion. If Palace don't think he is, then I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I'll be happy for him to go and make a big deal of scoring lots of goals for Palace and making me look a fool. I'll be happy to be on the receiving end of that. Listen, if they've sold Gehi, which has funded the transfer of Brennan Johnson, because they've probably got Man City to pay all up and pay for Brennan Johnson on the drip. They might do the same here. Yeah. They sell Mateta. So what? I mean, look. I'm not. Do you like him as a player, Alex?
Well, Alex, I was about to say, Alex. I mean, you work in games live for talkSPORT, and no doubt have seen Strand Larsen live on a few occasions while Simon's been trolling around Legoland. What do you see in this player?
I thought he looked a handful last season. Obviously, that prompted interest from Newcastle in the summer, but he's not been able to replicate that this season. I remember speaking to Sean Derry, actually, former Wolves coach at Aston. I think it was the first day of last season, and said, "What's this boy all about?" And he said, "You know what? In training, he looks the real deal. He could well be someone who scores goals regularly in the Premier League." So I'll reserve judgment. I still think they should have taken the money, Wolves.
To South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Well, England are back in South Africa next winter, and the Barmy Army is heading out in full force, and you can be with them as well, with a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Test match in Cape Town. Watch every day of the match at one of the great cricket grounds in the world. Flights, hotels, spending money, all of that covered. You'll secure two places with the official Barmy Army, putting you right at the heart of the atmosphere as well, with the loudest and proudest fans in cricket. Listen up. Here's how to enter. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call 0343 418 7260. The line's closed the 6th of February at 4 p.m, and that's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. It's 18 plus, UK residents only. There's a network promotion full of terms and conditions which are available at talksport.com. But if you want a chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 now. Sam, Crookie just can't help himself, can he? Every single Friday,
He has to make a sly dig about Spurs, Paulie in Essex. Good morning. Please thank Gabby and Salty for their concern regarding
Gabby?
Spurs. I wonder who it would be. Crookie moaning again about Spurs beating United in Bilbao when the mighty Manchester United have been knocked out of the Cups by Grimsby and Brighton, and the mighty Blues from Birmingham City have won a cup more recently than Villa. Have a good weekend. Cheers, boys, says Mick Hounslow.
I'll never stop bemoaning that Europa League final, honestly.
Well, you do hold a grudge, don't you?
I do. I hold a grudge against Ruben Amorim for messing
hold a
it up.
grudge about against a few people. Poor old James. You set a private.
Let it go, mate. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. I don't like being called Gobby either.
Gobby is
I don't like it, mate.
Gobby is that tight. He wakes up in the middle of the night and looks under his bed to see if he's lost any sleep. That's from Daz.
Sounds about right.
Might be my best one so far. Leeds against Arsenal. Arsenal play Leeds this week, looking to extend their 127-day stay at the top of the Premier League. They dropped 7 points in their last 3 games in the Premier League after 5 consecutive wins. Is that inevitable because of their low-risk approach to the season, taking a thoughtful, strategic, careful, plotted course through the season? Because in that time, they played the likes of Manchester United, they played against Liverpool, and they thought to themselves during that time, we won't overexert ourselves, a point's going to be good enough. Only 2 of their remaining 15 games are against the top 6 sides. Chelsea at home, who they regularly beat there, and Manchester City away.
That's a big one.
So is this just sensible plotting through from Mikel Arteta?
I think there's a fine line. And I think the stat that worries me, if I was an Arsenal fan, is that they're 17th in the table in terms of the percentage of goals scored from open play. That tells me they're too reliant on free kicks and corners, and I do think that's stifling a little bit of their creativity. I don't think Bukayo Saka is having a brilliant season. Martin Odegaard was taken off relatively early against United at the weekend, and I think it becomes a problem if City or Villa can string together a consistent run of victories to start to ebb away at that 4-point lead. So I think at some point he's going to have to take the handbrake off Mikel Arteta and start to take a few more risks.
He did hint at a change of emphasis at his news conference on earlier in the week when he said that he had told his players to play with a bit more enjoyment over the months ahead, and it was going to be the mindset is going to be that enjoyment, and telling the fans that the journey is something to be enjoyed rather than endured, because there was a little bit of tension there at the Emirates on Sunday when we were there.
Yeah, I think then that plays on the players. The fans have got to relax. Even if your team goes a goal down, have patience. You know, teams can come back from a goal down and come and win. So is it the fans aren't used to this because it's been so long since they won the Premier League, and these players haven't won the Premier League, so they're going to get nerves. And I feel after your result last week against Manchester United, the last place you want to go is Ellen Road. It really is against Leeds. Leeds are flying at the moment. Only 6 points off West Ham. They know they still need to get points, and they're not scared of anyone. Leeds now. You know, you see how the way they play. Even when they played against Man City, they weren't scared. Second half, they will go for it. So I can see them dropping points against Leeds. I can see a draw.
19 of their last 26 points have come at Ellen Road for Leeds United. It is fascinating because if you look back at title races gone by, it's very rare that you have a team that just blows everybody away and plays great football all the way through. Look at the Chelsea teams that won under Jose Mourinho. They're a bit mechanical in the way they did it. You look at the Arsenal Invincible teams, they drew so many games, they just didn't lose. And this was sort of a little bit like what this team is doing. If there is one note of caution, it is that they have stopped scoring as many goals as they did in the year where they went the closest. I think they're on average now looking as if they're going to score only 69 goals. And for a title-winning team over the past 9 years, the average is 80? 92.
Wow. So that's a big drop-off. And the other concern is they're not quite as defensively stable as they were. They have started to concede goals.
I still think they do win the Premier League this season. But
if they don't win it this year, they never will they?
It will be an underwhelming Premier League title.
It won't be.
I think it will be.
For Arsenal. If they win the title for the first time in 22
they won't care.
Years, they will not
No,
care.
they won't care.
But
Everyone else will.
Done. Well, yeah, last year he was giving Liverpool stick for the way they went about.
And I've been proved right when you look at them this year. It wasn't.
Well, they still won the league.
It wasn't a great Premier League
but
last year.
They still won the league.
Liverpool can't. That Liverpool team. That's what I said at the time. It was in March. We're at the Cheltenham Festival. I got a lot of stick from Liverpool fans, but I stand by it. You can't talk about the Liverpool team that won the league last year in the same breath as Manchester City's treble winners, United's treble winners, Jose's Chelsea, Arsenal's invincible.
But it was the first season in their development. It's like this season for Arsenal. This is the first season that they're going to put some silverware on the board. So you don't just automatically put them into a bracket with some of the greatest teams that have ever graced the Premier League. That happens over a longer period of time. It may well be that after that, they had to rejig. They surprised themselves by winning the title last year. They had to rejig. They had to rebuild for the future. It may be that they come again.
Whereas it's a different story with Arsenal. They've been building up to this moment. And I think that's why Gabby says, not to their fans, but maybe to the rest of us, if they are only going to score 69 goals, you've said maybe it is a little bit underwhelming. And I love Theo Walcott, but I can't believe he even asked the question on television. Would this Arsenal team beat the United team of 2008? Absolutely no chance.
It is a little odd, though, having come close 2 seasons ago with an attacking approach, a creative approach, that Arsenal have gone in such a different direction, in such a quick sort of turnaround of time. They're less willing to take risks now. Who's responsible for that? Why have they decided to do that?
That's the manager, of course. And I don't think there's any Arsenal fan out there that will care come May. They will say 1-0 to the Arsenal. The song that they sing, they've sang for many years. They don't care. They'll win it by a point, win it by 3 points, 5 points, play defensive, win it off set piece, get called set piece FC by other fan bases. As long as they win the Premier League, it's a relief. The next for them is the Champions League because they've never won it.
In terms of the way they're approaching it, can you be too careful?
I think you can. And it's something I wrote about earlier in the season when they went to Liverpool and they got beat 1-0, that Szoboszlai free kick. And I think had they thrown more caution to the wind that day, they'd have beaten Liverpool. I think they showed them far too much respect on that occasion. And I'll be really interested when it comes to it in April, when they go to Manchester City, to see what the approach is there.
Do you know what? I wonder whether or not it is Arsenal, whether it is just the Premier League this year, because only Manchester City have actually outscored Arsenal. So it's not as if like everybody's scoring more goals than Arsenal. In the Champions League, no team comes anywhere near them in terms of the total number of goals that they've scored, 23, and 8 wins from 8 in the league phase. So I just wonder whether or not it's the Premier League and the style of defending in the Premier League that actually just constricts everybody.
It's quite dull, isn't it, when you watch games? We've
Premier League.
When you watch some of the Premier League games and the amount of teams that sit back and it's passed to the goalkeeper, centre half, left back, centre half, right back to the keeper, it can be quite frustrating. And that's not me being against every team. Even when I watch Villa at times, it's like, come on, guys, get it forward quicker, find Morgan Rodgers in the hole quicker. It can be quite boring, and a lot of people are saying that about the Premier League this season.
Well, tomorrow night, I can promise you it won't be boring when we go to Anfield, Liverpool against Newcastle, live on talkSPORT, 8 o'clock.
I've gone 0-0.
Kickoff.
Pardon?
I don't think it will be a goal fest. There you go, I'm going to go against you.
See? Dull football, Sam.
Okay. Well, Crookie's
Unlike my day.
Crookie's always right, and if he's wrong, he'll change his mind and be right straight afterwards. You know that. 03717223344. I think you're getting a bit of a reputation, by the way, Paul has sent it in. Gobby is tighter than 2 coats of paint.
Oh,
he's got to get the coffee.
I'm actually not tight.
He's going to have to get the coffee.
Not. The breakfast boys, I pay for their Starbucks every morning.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Cost me a lot of money.
Okay, remember this.
Are you a regular on breakfast, or are you still a super sub?
I'm a sub.
This is your show.
I'm a sub, mate.
I own this.
But when someone does about 50 gigs a month between them, you know what I mean? They can pay for the coffees, can't they, Crookie, Sam?
Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
This is Robbie Williams with Angels.
I sit and wait. Doesn't
'cause I've been told that salvation lets their wings unfold. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel that love is dead. In your cars, on the buses, I'm loving angels instead. Everybody, and through it all, whether I'm right or wrong, and down the waterfall, wherever it may take me, I know that love.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan van range. Scoring a winning hat-trick of performance, payload and price. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your latest sports headlines, I'm Matt Hutchinson. Good afternoon. David Moyes says Jack Grealish will probably need surgery on a foot fracture. It's likely to rule him out for the rest of the season, another blow to his lingering hopes of making England's World Cup squad this summer. Meanwhile, Liverpool's Jeremy Frimpong is also facing a spell on the sidelines. Here's Arne Slot.
I will definitely not be in the squad tomorrow, so he's out for a few weeks, but not as bad as we thought.
But Ibrahima Konate is back training after some time out following the death of his father. Curtis Jones is also available again after illness. Liverpool-Newcastle is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Elsewhere, Max Dowman will sign his first pro contract at Arsenal in December when he turns 17. Ray Parlour says the teenager will be important for the Gunners and England in the years ahead.
I've spoke to his dad the other night. He was at Billericay. Watching the game. They beat St Albans 3-2, and yeah, he's very excited about his future. But his dad knows it can go wrong as well, and I think that is so important that he keeps his feet on the ground, works hard.
Newcastle will play against Qarabag in their Champions League playoffs. Real Madrid have been drawn against Benfica, a rematch of that remarkable game this week where Benfica's keeper scored a 98th minute header. Robbie Keane is looking forward to a potential Europa League reunion with his former national team manager.
Maybe written on the stars, is it? Than myself against Martin, I don't know. But again, regardless who we play, the two games will be tough anyway.
Well, Keane's Ferencváros could meet Martin O'Neill's Celtic in the Europa League playoffs. The draw is just about to get underway. And last but not least, in the Australian Open tennis, Novak Djokovic and Jannik Sinner are a set all in their semi-final. Carlos Alcaraz is through.
talkSPORT News.
An asylum seeker has been jailed for life after the murder of a hotel worker in Walsall, and the PM says the UK cannot stick its head in the sand about China. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
We're expecting heavier rain and winds to move into southern areas this afternoon. Cloudy and breezy for many, feeling cold in the north.
It's talkSPORT, Matterface Alex Crook, and eventually showing a turn of pace reminiscent of Villa Park in 2009. Gabby Agbonlahor, distracted by the sweets outside, he's gone sprinting back into the studio.
Sorry, guys. I just got told something that Jamie O'Hara is doing the sports bar weekender.
Yes.
As he needs extra shifts to pay for his wedding that's coming up.
Oh, really?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. Yeah. He's good on that.
I think Robbie out of EastEnders is his best man. And
is he? Robbie out of EastEnders. Who's Robbie out of
Who's the ring bearer?
With
Wellart's bringing the rings down.
Robbie! Bianca, Robbie!
I don't think that was Robbie.
No, Ricky.
Dean Gaffney was
Dean Gaffney.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's his mate.
Is he bringing the dog? That's
his mate.
He used to regularly pop up in the audience at Dancing on Ice, didn't he? Dean Gaffney.
Did he?
Just to make sure he's still got seen on television.
Don't say that about Jamie's mate. How dare you?
It was him and the Chuckle Brother every week.
Yeah, but you love the Chuckle Brother.
We shared a bowl of Twiglets.
Yeah, you did.
I said, you want one of these? He said to me, to you.
Oh, God, that's so terrible. On Sunday, the Chuckle Brothers, me and him, will be going to Tottenham versus Manchester City. We're bringing you all of the updates from the massive Sunday. By the way, you're coming, aren't you, Sunday? Aren't you doing something with us Sunday?
I'm doing Villa Brentford, yeah.
You're going, so we've got a game day live with you and Scott Minto.
Looking forward to it, mate.
Do you need a map to Villa Park? You all right?
You can just don't disturb me while watching the game, okay? Right, I'll speak to you as a half-time and full-time.
You can't do your punditry bit from the executive box. You know that, don't you?
1 second on air, 1 second.
Someone's going to bring you out a coffee or, massage your feet or anything.
I want to speak to the future king, but, I'll speak to you guys.
He was there
instead.
last night, actually.
Yes,
he turned up.
Yes.
Yeah. He's a proper fan, isn't he?
Yeah. I'll wait for the Champions League next season. I'll turn up.
Spurs do take on Manchester City. We'll be there, and Thomas Frank will be there as well. It's fascinating, isn't it, the difference between the two performances? Is it because of a little bit like what we were saying about Liverpool, the idea that actually the sort of the type of football that they play in the Champions League is less physical? There is more sort of room to play, whereas in the Premier League, it is a lot more physical, a lot more robust, very difficult to break down. Is that why Tottenham are struggling domestically and managing to put points on the board in the Champions League?
Well, there's poor teams they're playing.
Well, I was just about to say that. If you look at the list of teams they have played, Frankfurt finished 33rd, Villarreal 35th. They played Slavia Prague as well, didn't they? 34th.
Dortmund.
Did they play Copenhagen as well?
Yeah,
who also finished in the bottom grouping and didn't qualify for the round of 16. So I do think the fixtures were pretty kind to Spurs. Bodo Glimt, 23rd, just about snuck in. So they've not really played anyone yet. Borussia Dortmund went down to 10 men. Yeah. I think we're going to find out a lot more about Spurs in the knockout stages. But I do think certain individuals do seem to be better suited to the Champions League. Xavi Simons is definitely one of those. At the moment, he reminds me a bit of one Sebastian Veron, who didn't really do it in the Premier League for either Manchester United or Chelsea, but certainly at United, when it came to the Champions League, he made a real impact in that competition.
Are they, looking at the points, they're on the same points as Crystal Palace. They're 2 in front of Leeds. They're 3 in front of Forest. They're 8 ahead of West Ham. They haven't won, though, in any of their last 5 games in the Premier League, when they played Burnley, West Ham, Bournemouth, Sunderland and Brentford. And the next 7 fixtures that they've got look pretty tricky. City at home at the weekend, United away, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Liverpool away, straight after the international break, plus the Champions League fixtures thrown into that. Are they too good to get dragged into a relegation battle?
I think they are, and I think a bigger problem for them as well, Sam, is, like Crookie said there, some of these players are turning up in the Champions League, but are you looking at Simmons and saying, look at the standard of players you're playing against in the Champions League. As well. Yeah, Moani hasn't scored in the Premier League yet, but they're 10 points off Manchester United in 4th position. If I'm the hierarchy at Spurs, I'm saying we want to get back-to-back Champions League seasons. Not going to happen this season because they're miles off.
Can you see them getting back into contention for a European place?
No.
With games against City, United, Newcastle, Arsenal, Fulham and Palace and Liverpool over the next
They could easily not win a game out of all those games. They could easily not win.
Well, he'll be gone if that does happen. He's bought himself a little bit of respite, certainly with a hierarchy. It won't take long for the fans to turn again if they start to struggle against Man City this weekend. If they don't start to put wins on the board, inevitably they're going to make a change.
Solanke could be a player that helps him out. It's looked good to see Solanke back. He's given him that physical presence up front, holding the ball up, linking with players. Took his goal well during the week as well. That is not an easy finish to take your time, composure, put into the corner of the net. So keeping Solanke fit, getting him the service that he needs. But other players have got to turn up. Simmons, Muani, Odebear. You've got to do more.
They look lively in patches in that game against Frankfurt.
Frankfurt was so bad.
Tuesday night. Okay, all right. Well, listen, I think the problem you've got with Tottenham Hotspur is that the fans are almost as apathetic as you are in terms of like the idea of sitting there watching their team, getting disappointed about the way they are performing. Manchester City haven't been great away from home, and I think they've picked up 12 more points at home than they have in away games this season. But they do bring Antoine Semenyo to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this week. Just a few weeks after, in fact, 22 days after he scored with his final touch as a Bournemouth player in that thrilling game down at the Vitality Stadium. Could he come back to haunt Spurs again?
I think he could. I think you look at the way that he's settled into life as a Manchester City player. It's so important when you go for that kind of money that you make a positive impact. He had a perfect game to start with against Exeter in the FA Cup, got a goal and an assist, was brilliant in that semi-final against Newcastle. He's already scored in the Premier League as well, so he's taken to that like a duck to water, and it wouldn't surprise me.
He's had a week off.
And it wouldn't surprise me if he was bang there in terms of what happens on Sunday.
So I watched him in his games for Manchester City. He looks like he's really happy to be there. Excited that like, I'm at Man City. I'm playing under Pep Guardiola.
And playing well.
Score. I want to get goals, get assists, getting in at the back post. Was it against Newcastle?
Yeah.
Getting that goal. He's a top player, and he's a player that I see Pep playing a lot. I mean, Foden's come out of the team, hasn't he? Last 2 games have been on the bench. Come on early, midweek for Doku in the first half. Foden's got to liven up as well in his performances.
Tottenham defenders scoring goals has been a big story, hasn't it? 7 of Tottenham's 11 Premier League goals since the start of December have been scored by defenders. Each of their last 3 goals. Christian Romero has been saving their blushes. Mickey van der Ven has been coming up with the odd one. Why is it that they're scoring so many goals from defenders? Because a lot of those goals as well have been players have taken matters into their own hands rather than any sort of well-choreographed move.
They are aggressive defenders in both boxes, aren't they? Look at Van der Ven. Was it last season that he went on that mazy run? Or was it early on this season and he scored that fantastic goal?
That was brilliant.
Yeah, he's got that in his locker, hasn't he? Got a great left foot. And Romero is such a brave attacker of the ball in both boxes as well. But other players have got to step up now. Can get some goals from midfield. Can Odebear is a player that I do like. Can you start coming up with goals? Simmons, how long do you have to get settled now? It's time to give more goals to your team.
How much sort of leeway do you give him because of the injuries that they've had?
Well, I give him a lot of leeway, but I'm a big fan of Thomas Frank, and I think when you hire him, you know that he's a project manager. He's not someone who's going to come in and work his magic overnight. It takes time to get his ideas and principles across, but certainly the fans don't seem to be willing to give him that time. I know the hierarchy is split, but they have had terrible luck with injury, even in midweek. No Pedro Porro, he won't play this weekend. Not sure that Van der Ven will be fit either. Maddison obviously has been a long-term absentee. Kulusevski, Solanke has only just come back. So there's an awful lot of mitigating factors, but as I say, that seems to be falling on deaf ears with the fans.
Okay, well, we'll be there to take the temperature on Sunday. Game Day Live coming from 1:30. We've got a big game in the WSL. Manchester City against Chelsea is absolutely huge on Sunday as well. We've got loads of games in the Premier League, a couple of games in Scotland as well to focus on, both Celtic and Rangers in action. It's going to be a huge Game Day Live, 1:30 on Sunday on talkSPORT. It's worth remembering that since winning on the opening day of the season against Burnley, Tottenham have won only once and taken just 6 points from their next 10 Premier League home games. But they always seem to turn up against City. This is talkSPORT. We're going to do the Europa League draw in just a second and find out who Nottingham Forest will face in the playoff round of the competition. We'll find out who Celtic's opponents are too. This is talkSPORT.
12 months ago when Palmer was fit. Who do you take, Fernandes or Palmer?
Palmer.
Yeah. Because now your excuse is he's not fit. Hence, we're not seeing the best of him, which I do agree with you. You have a point.
Here's a question for you, Sammy. Man United, moving forward, Bruno Fernandes or Cole Palmer?
Moving forward. Because you said moving forward, obviously Cole Palmer, because he's younger. And if he can stay fit. But look on the plus side. Fernandes is hardly injured.
No, he don't get injured a lot, to be fair to him. Doesn't get injured a lot.
No, the injuries are
produces every week as well, though, mate. I know, like, he gets a bad rap, I think, but man, you look at his stats also, in terms of chances created. It's ridiculous.
No,
every season he's top.
He's top drawer, right? But Cole, it seems such an unfair conversation because Cole Palmer has had this season on the back of the Club World Cup. Well, I'm proud of the tournament, by the way, right? We're talking about a serious footballer here, and it wasn't that long ago that he was being looked at as the next bright young thing in world football, right? And his injuries, it's amazing what injuries can do to you if you can stay fit. Now, maybe the Club World Cup has come back to haunt him a little bit. He's played a lot of football. He's had his groin issues. He can't get in the squad. He can't stay fit. He's got his own personal issues right now to get himself back into Chelsea's best 11.
Yeah.
When he's fit, he's in Chelsea's best 11. There's no doubt about that. When he's fit, he's knocking on that door of that England 11. There's no doubt. But at the moment, he can't. The conversation feels so unfair. And I, like I said, on a personal level, can't get fit.
Sammy,
can't be picked.
Sammy, just quickly.
Yeah.
Bruno at his best and Palmer at his best. Who do you want in your midfield?
Bruno.
Okay.
Because we saw what he did when he first came in. He was like unreal.
Charlton kicks off 12:30 tomorrow. talkSPORT 2 for that one. The Champions League draw has been done earlier on, and Newcastle are going to go away to Karabag in the playoff round. We're just waiting details of Nottingham Forest opponents and Celtic's opponents in the Europa League draw. We'll bring that to you.
Tell you what, you wouldn't mess with a Victoria Pilsen representative, would you? They could guard any nightclub door, those two fellas.
You can talk.
Here they are, Forest.
Gabby, we've had a few complaints about you.
Yeah,
Apparently, you've been whistling down the microphone.
Yeah, I think 3 times one message come in, but I want to apologise for whistling during the show. Unprofessional for me. And if it's caused you any distress, I want to sincerely apologise.
Thank you very much for that.
Fenerbahce, Forest.
Nottingham Forest will go away to the Turkish capital, to Istanbul, to play Fenerbahce first, and then the second leg will be at the City Ground in Nottingham. And we're just seeing that Ferencvaros have come out. Now, of course, they could have played Celtic, but they don't. They play Ludogorets instead, which means they'll play Stuttgart, which is quite a difficult game, I think.
For Celtic?
Yeah.
I agree. I think they would have preferred Robbie Keane's Ferencvaros. There'd have been a nice narrative there as well. But yeah, tough draws for both British representatives.
Yeah, Fenerbahce will be a tough one.
Yeah.
They were poor against Villa, but they've got some very good players.
Yeah, and actually they were good last year when they played Manchester United. They held them to a 1-1 draw there in Istanbul. We were there for that one. Nottingham Forest then finishing 13th in the Europa League. They will play Fenerbahce. Celtic, their game against Stuttgart is in the knockout playoff. So we have the results of the Europa League phase playoff draws as a result of the actions taking place.
He's fallen asleep, that guy.
Poor old Crookies is mesmerised by the fact that there's a big TV in the studio. So a bit like when we were at Old Trafford the other day, we're trying to do a professional broadcast, and he gets a little bit excited, so he starts shouting things. Right? So, this should be a free kick. You're like, no, we're on air. You can't get emotionally attached. Now there's a big TV in the studio. He just can't stop reading out what's happening.
I'm just intrigued by the room. Look, this fella's got no mates. He's from
but no one else can
no
see
one wants
that.
to sit next to him.
It's just you talking about stuff that's on a
Do you
TV
know what I'm
that
doing?
nobody can see.
I'm doing like Terry Wogan style Eurovision commentary.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're not. Just so you know, that was slightly higher grade. Should we talk about Emma Raducanu? Because she's going through another coach. She is going to move on after being dismissed from the Australian Open after 3 round 3 of the competition. It's interesting, isn't it, with Raducanu, because she's gone through quite a lot of coaches over the course of her career. What do we think is the problem here? Her Australian Open exit was preceded by a lot of sort of fanfare that she's back and she's recovered from injury. But afterwards, she said, I want to be playing in a different way. I just want to hit the ball to the corners. I want to hit it hard. I feel like what I'm doing with all this variety, it's not doing what I want to do. I need to work on playing in a way more similar to how I was when I was younger. Is she chasing something that isn't there?
Listen, you said what's the problem? She seems to be the problem. Because how many coaches do you want to go through?
10.
Exactly. They can't all be wrong, Sam. And her form since she won the US Open, it's been pretty abysmal, hasn't it? I know Crookie's not happy with her comments, are you, Alex?
Well, it's the fact she's gone through so many coaches. You have to ask, are the coaches the issue, or is it more of an Emma Raducanu problem? And I'll go back to that US Open back in 2021. I remember watching, actually, we were all gathered around my mobile phone in the curry house watching her get over the line in that final, but she didn't really beat anybody, did she? She was unseeded. I think I'm right in saying her opponent, Leylah Fernandes, was unseeded. It was during COVID time, so it was a bit of an anomaly, really, and she's certainly not been able to build on that. Now, I guess on one hand, you could say maybe she's overachieved already for her talent levels by winning that US Open, but it's been really disappointing since then.
Has the hunger gone, though? All the deals, the sponsorship deals, the money's come.
Too much, too young, potentially.
Maybe she's searching for a magic bullet that she thinks is going to propel her back to the top. She's realised that she's done it once and she wants to have the opportunity to do it again. So she's looking for someone who can bring the best out of her. Does she need to do that, or does she need to just focus on knuckling down and getting results?
It seems like excuses to me.
Well, she might be saying, I don't want to be overcoached.
Yeah, but I watched some of her games during Wimbledon last summer, and she had some very good performances, even against Sabalenka. Watching that, she done well, even though she lost. So I think she has to knuckle down and train harder. But to go through 10 coaches, that says to me that you're the problem, not the coaches.
If you look at her run to that final in 2021, she beat a player ranked 121st in the world in the first round, 49th in the second, 41st in the third, 46th in the fourth. Did beat Belinda Bencic in the quarterfinal. That was a good win. And then number 18 in the final. But yeah, it was the 73rd ranked player in the world that she beat in that final. So, I mean, that is a Gareth Southgate type draw, isn't it?
Oh, don't say that about his mate, Alex. Sam, what's your response to that? We know Gareth, Sir Gareth's your mate.
Do you know what? I think it's really, really sad that instead of celebrating the fact that someone has won...
We did at the time.
We're more interested in denigrating the way in which they did it and turning around and tearing a strip off them and saying that they ain't that good, really. She admitted that she was completely off it in her second-round match against Anastasia Postapova.
She's been off it for 5 years.
Number 51. But she's only a kid. She was only a kid when she broke onto the scene. There's been loads of tales of young tennis players that break onto the scene. They do remarkable things, then they go off the rails or they go into a different direction because their body's still developing, they're still growing, or they're changing coaches, they're finding themselves as human beings. And then all of a sudden, later on down their life, they might well rekindle some of that.
I think if you change this to a footballer or someone else, we would be saying too much too soon. The sponsorship deals, the millions of pounds coming in.
Her life changed overnight.
Yeah, are you as hungry to go and win a Grand Slam? Because, let's be honest, do you need the money?
Can you blame her? Were you always perfectly professional?
I was indeed, mate. Yeah.
Turned up with a wheelbarrow of cash outside your door to keep you at the club?
How did you know about that? No, listen, getting too much too soon, it happens a lot. It's happened over the years, hasn't it? It happens a lot more now. Some of the youngsters and what they're getting. But I just think, like Crookie says, to be in such poor form for 5 years since winning US Open.
Well, she had injuries as well.
Yeah, but not. It's not all injuries, is it?
It's not all injuries. No, she's had bad form and she has gone through too many coaches. I think she'd probably admit that herself if she was sitting here.
Surely you're sitting with coaches as well and you're going through what's best for yourself as well. The coach is just going to say, listen, this is what I'm going to say to do on the tennis court. Do it my way. You're going to have conversations.
How difficult must it be, though? If you're, because tennis is quite an interesting sport in that the talent comes from that player.
Yeah.
You are the one who ultimately has to be in charge of how you want the tactics in the game to go. You can be advised, but ultimately, you know whether or not you can pull off this shot or pull off that shot, and you've got to make that second decision when it happens. Because it's such an individual sport, what is the role of a coach here?
But look at boxers. How many boxers have gone against their boxing coach and they've done well with it or done bad with it because they've not stuck to the plan? Like you says, you're good at tennis or you're not. I get it, she might have different shots that she favours and she wants to work on those, but surely you just tell your coach that. Surely 10 coaches aren't going to all say, no, do it this way.
But do you think the fact she's gone through so many coaches is a reflection that she doesn't like the answers that she's being given?
Maybe. Some home truths.
She said also that, she doesn't like the fact that she's been asked to play with so much variety. She just wants to hit it to the corner. She wants to play with sort of natural instinct. There is something to be said for that.
So she doesn't need a coach at all then, on that basis?
Maybe she doesn't.
Sounds easy. Hard as you can into the corners. Grand slams.
Well said, Gabby, says Ben. Yes, she appears to be the problem. Joshua says, I'm a Birmingham fan, and Gabby's whistling down the microphone is more annoying than him scoring against us. Great show as always, lads. So refreshing to hear a pundit emphasising the need for Tottenham players to step up instead of piling all the blame onto the manager as usual. Well done, Gabby. Good to hear.
Thanks, guys.
Says Les.
Cheers, Les.
We had to look a long way through the text messages to find.
Is that night down after 100 messages you found them too?
They were buried somewhere, but we dug them out. It's all fine. It's talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor, and the Saltmeister. We're here through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. We'll talk Liverpool against Newcastle in a little bit. Stick with us. This is... we're here through till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals with SelcoBW.com.
Let's go to Zach. He's an Arsenal fan, right, Zach?
Hi, Zach.
Arsenal.
Well done. Congrats. You finished top. Fair play to you.
Mate, I think that penalty was a bit stupid to drag him down like that. But apart from that, I'm happy, and I think we're gonna go on and win it all.
What do you mean?
I think we're gonna go in and win the Champions League, mate.
Do you genuinely believe that? Do you think you're the best team?
I believe it in my whole heart. I believe it in my whole heart that we'll win. I don't have a doubt that we'll win.
I'm not convinced, Zach. I'll be honest. I'm not convinced.
You just said earlier you think they could as well.
Oh, of course they can, because they're a good team and they're top. But I'm not convinced they're going to win the Champions League. Reason being, you ain't won it before.
Squad is on.
You ain't won it.
But...
You're stumbling already in the Premier League. You played Kairat tonight. You made 11 changes. You won 3-2, but I don't know. I'm not that convinced with Arsenal. When it gets to the latter stages over 2 legs, I think you're going to I think you get found out.
What you mean is you hope they get found out.
Well, obviously I hope, but I genuinely believe. Listen,
they're in everything. 4 points clear in the Premier League.
I'm not going to lose too much sleep if Arsenal win the Champions League, right? I, as a Spurs fan, I have to take it on the chin. But I just genuinely think that Arsenal won't win the Champions League. I just don't think. I think they're better teams than you over 2 legs.
Look, I think your argument that we haven't won it is ridiculous because of PSG last season. They won it, but they've never won it before. Man City a few years ago, they won it. They won it, but they don't win it before, I think it's our time.
And it is easy to say, I think they're going to get beat by someone. There are like 24 teams that could...
Yeah, I know, the 24 teams. If you get to I'm talking about latter stages. Barcelona over 2 legs.
Well, you think they're going to... Yeah, but whoever...
Bayern Munich. I know they beat Bayern Munich, and that was a really good performance, to be fair. But over 2 legs, I just think they get beat.
Max Dowman signed a pre-agreement with Arsenal and will sign his first pro deal on December 31st when he turns 17. More on this at talksport.com. Now, Robbie Keane says a Europa League reunion with his former Republic of Ireland boss may be written in the stars. Martin O'Neill reckons Robbie's Ferencváros would be a tough playoff for Celtic.
He's just starting his managerial career, and from the start he's made, he's done really, really well.
Celtic either face Stuttgart or Ferencváros. They were hammered 4-0 by Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche says that the results are a reminder that Forest do have real quality. They'll play either Fenerbahce or Panathinaikos next. Meanwhile, Aston Villa's injury pile-up is reaching crisis levels. Ollie Watkins came off in the first half, holding his hamstring during the win over Salzburg. Unai Emery's not sure if he'll be fit to play Brentford on Sunday. And on his YouTube, Anthony Joshua's paid tribute to the two friends and colleagues he calls brothers.
We became everything. We became housemates. We were living together. Do you know what I mean? It's a shame. It's a shame.
Sina Gami and Latif Ayadele were killed in a car crash AJ walked away from. He's back in the gym, but hasn't spoken about coming back to the ring. More on this at talksport.com.
Right, let's get to the tennis. Djokovic and Sinner in a third set tussle, and watching is Toby Gillis.
A lot of people thought this was likely to be a one-sided affair, Sam, in Sinner's favour. It's anything but. Novak Djokovic giving every bit as good as he's getting. If you compare his stats across the tournament, in this match alone, he's up the power by as much as 10% across the board. That's the sort of improvement he'd always have needed to compete with the defending champion. In taking the second set 6-3, the same scoreline he lost the first by, he took one against Sinner for the first time in the last 11 that they have played against. The third is going with serve. It is 4 apiece. Sinner just about to start serving at 4-all then in the third set. 1 set all. And remember, the winner plays Carlos Alcaraz in Sunday's final.
The Australian Open update on talkSPORT with TNT Sports. Stream every set live on Discovery Plus or watch TNT Sports channels on EE, Sky and Virgin Media. Subscription required. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Breaking news in the last few minutes. Fulham have confirmed the signing of Oscar Bobb from Manchester City for an undisclosed fee. He has got a Premier League winners' medal. He agreed a 5.5-year deal, keeping him at the club until 2031. They say he's going to wear the number 14 shirt. He's 22. He says, it feels great to be here. I had a great day meeting everyone. I'm very excited. I've always known Fulham to be a good club with good players and a great stadium. I spoke to one of my good friends and I spoke to the manager, and he explained to me what the system's like and how the lads are and how the club is. He seemed so lovely. It was an easy decision, basically. So Oscar Bobb, the latest through the door at Fulham. And that's a good signing, because I think if he's done that, they must have done that before 12 o'clock. It means he's available for the weekend game against Manchester United.
Yeah,
perfect.
I'd rather the paperwork got held up. £27 million, the fee. Manchester City have got a 20% sell-on and first refusal if they do sell him. And I think he's the type of player who could go and do really well for Fulham.
Yes, really like
Are you a little bit surprised that Manchester City let him go?
No, because they've got 200 wingers. So yeah, I'm not surprised one bit. But is this more as well for the future with Harry Wilson maybe?
I think Harry Wilson goes. I don't think he'll sign a new contract.
Where would he go? Where would he go?
Why do you think that?
Because I think he's got half a dozen clubs who are willing to sign him
and pay him more money.
He can get a big signing on fee, probably get a pay increase as well. I was told that he wanted to get a bit closer to the northwest as well. Obviously, former Liverpool player, still got roots in that area.
Interesting.
Do you think Savinho leaves as well quickly?
Not this window.
In the summer,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised they turned down Tottenham's offer for him, because I don't see it with Savinho.
No.
I don't see the end product.
Well, Sam will say it's good signing, like he did last week.
Well, what was good signing?
When you every Pep Guardiola signing's been great, you said.
I didn't say every Pep Guardiola signing has been. They don't try and...
I'm learning from Cookie.
Yeah, we noticed.
He's not happy, by the way.
He also came out with a load of crap last week saying that Pep Guardiola was a checkbook manager, which alienated you.
Just the truth.
One or two.
He thinks you and I are a bit too pally. I said I don't even like him, really. More of a professional arrangement.
Yes.
You know, you got the ump with me the other day.
Work, mate.
I didn't go into his hot tub.
Oh, really?
His missus had run the hot tub. She'd warmed it all up.
Cost me a fortune in electricity, that, and you didn't even use it.
And I wouldn't get in with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
upset about
why
that.
not, Sam?
Do you know what? It was very late. We'd had a couple of whiskies. We'd come back from Aston Villa.
About 4 hours.
He
to get
took
back from
17 hours to drive back because he was so
From
bad
Birmingham,
at it.
you're driving slow, weren't you?
Oh,
we kept getting diverted.
Yeah. And not to the pub for a change.
You one of those that does 15 or 70? Are you one of those, Cookie?
I've got a clean licence.
Oh, okay.
No, you haven't.
I have now.
I've been wiped off.
When you doing a speed awareness course?
I may have done a couple of those, yeah. Just to keep my hand in, really.
Anyway, talking of fast and furious action, Liverpool against Newcastle is on Saturday night, live on talkSPORT. What are Liverpool in the fight for? A fight for top 4? Winning trophies? Are they now there for the taking? What do you think about them?
Well, still plenty to play for. 5 is going to be enough, isn't it? Top 5 to get a place in the Champions League. So it looks like a three-way tussle between them and Chelsea and United to get into that top 5. Champions League, much like Spurs, really, their form has been better in Europe than it has in the Premier League, but they've actually come up against some decent teams and gone away from home. That was a statement victory in Marseille, so I still think they could be there or thereabouts come the business end of that tournament. You've got the FA Cup, obviously, so the season is certainly not dead, and I still think the hierarchy want to back Arne Slot. They don't want to be sacking a title-winning manager.
Speaking to Arne Slot, going to the press conferences this week and listening to him talk, I was doing the game for TV on Wednesday night, in which he said beforehand, one of the problems with our form has not necessarily been the Champions League or playing too many games or not having enough players. It's been actually the fact that when we play Champions League on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night, we're giving it absolutely everything, which is hence why they're doing so well. But it then takes it out of them going into the weekend. And we mentioned that with Dan Towse earlier. They've got 36 points, which equals their lowest tally at this stage of the season since 15-16. 20 points worse off than at this stage last season. There's no Gomez, no Frimpong, no Bradley. So a makeshift right back will have to deal with Liverpool native Anthony Gordon this week. Newcastle did hold their own, actually, in Paris. And they should have won that game later on with the Harvey Barnes effort.
Yes.
Are they vulnerable to an 11th defeat of the season here?
100%. And let's not play down the fact that no Trent. Massive not having Trent service for Salah, for the forward players. How many assists did Trent get in his Liverpool career? Van Dijk has been off it. Salah has been off it. Not the same player. Hasn't got the same legs. So you look at those positions, how important they were. Losing Diaz. Fantastic form for Bayern Munich this season. So you look at all those reasons. That's why they're struggling as well. They're just not as good as they used to be. Vert is getting better every game. Ekatike, I love. 8 Premier League goals in 20 games. I really like him. He's going to get better and better. But I just look at their team and I'm like, they need more from Salah. Right back's a problem. Even Frimpong fit, Bradley fit. They're not Trent. They haven't got the passing, the assists, the crossing of what Trent has got. Kirk has needed time to get into up to speed. Kanate's not been at it. So they're just not as good as they was last season.
There's no real winners from the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation at the moment because Liverpool look inferior without him.
Yep.
Real Madrid have not improved with him. And I don't think he's having a particularly great time in Spain either. It's the transfer that hasn't worked out for anybody so far.
Luis Diaz, big miss as well.
Yeah, I think that's
his energy at the front end of the pitch.
Yes.
Right. And although you can have a go at Darwin Núñez for a lot of things, he used to put it in every single week. And it's a different dynamic with the players that they've got now, a slightly different structure. Ekatike and Verts clearly are going to be the future of the football club. So is Alexander Isak. They came off after an hour in midweek, and they were very creative. Wirtz did brilliantly, actually, in the game. But I just wonder whether or not the Champions League arena is better suited to these players, and how long will it take them to get into the robustness and the physicality of the Premier League?
Yeah, it will take time, but then you look at Gakpo. Gakpo is a very good player, but he's not a player that you want to be playing every week. If Gakpo is playing, say, in the Champions League, you want another top winger like they had last season, Luis Diaz. Now they haven't got it. Harvey Elliott, Aston Villa. You know what I mean? How much game time would he have had this season?
Hasn't improved the team, though, does he? You look at his performances for Villa. I know he's not played many games, but I'm not sure that he's the answer.
Yeah, but Salah on that right-hand side, I know Frimpong can play there, but Salah not putting it in, not doing it, not looking like he can get past the player. Great to see him score midweek, of course, but what's your other option on that right-hand side? So I do think they are missing a couple of wingers. Semenyo would have been perfect for Liverpool.
It was interesting to hear Anthony Gordon talk this week, and Liverpool's certainly much better in the Champions League where it is less physical. And he said more football was sort of played in those games in the Champions League. He says in the Champions League, teams are much more open. They all try to play. It's less transitional. In the Premier League, it's become more physical than I've ever known it to be, he said before the match. What sort of match are we going to get?
I think it could be quite cagey. I know you think there's going to be a goal fest, but I think Liverpool with their defensive absentees, Newcastle still struggling away from home in the Premier League. I think there'll be a nervousness around Anfield. Certainly there has been over the course of this season. So, yeah, I don't think there'll be loads of goal-scoring opportunities. What do you think?
I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I think there will be goals because so much talent on show. But Liverpool went and beat Marseille away. I know it's a hard place to go and play. But how many teams in the Premier League would beat Marseille? A lot
of them. I agree.
So the standard, yes, some great players have got Marseille, but overall, player for player, will Sunderland beat Marseille? There's an argument that they would. The Premier League is that strong.
Who would thrash
Brentford.
Qarabag?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Most of the Premier League teams in the top half.
Yes, he might be easy to play in the Champions League, but because a lot of the teams in the Champions League aren't great.
It is a confidence booster, though, isn't it? Going into a game like this, having put 6 goals past Qarabag, players playing better, feeling a little bit of freedom inside Anfield, just taking that anxiety down.
100% as a player, when you're scoring goals and you're getting assists, of course it is nice as well for Van Dijk as well to get, I think, got 3 assists today during the game. Van Dijk, first time from a centre-half. But it's going to be totally different.
Did you see him when he was leading the line? He went charging through the middle and playing as a centre-forward, then laid it off to Chiesa.
But even look at Ekatike's goal.
Yeah, it was a good goal.
I don't think he scores that in a lot of the Premier League games against proper defenders.
What, because he gets so closed down?
But it was just so easy. Van Dijk plays it over the top.
Yeah, of course.
Little touch, nicks it past the defender.
Yeah.
That's not happening in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier, Champions League at the moment, than the Premier League.
If you look at their form before that game against Qarabag, especially at Anfield, they're not blowing teams away, Liverpool. They're not winning with any comfort, even in the games.
Unbeaten in the last 6 at Anfield, but drawn the last 2.
Yeah, but also when they are winning, it's by the odd goal, whereas last season they were almost winning in second gear. So there's definitely been a mentality shift as well.
The biggest issue has been conceding goals from set pieces, hasn't it? I mean, it's been an absolute nightmare this season. Only Bournemouth have conceded more than Liverpool from set pieces. No wonder they fired the set piece coach.
Yeah, but you wouldn't expect this off a Liverpool defence, would you? Over the years, Liverpool have been so strong defensively.
But isn't set piece defending a lot about attitude of player, like wanting to go and get the ball?
When we used to do set pieces with Martin Larson, he used to stand in the middle and just come and head it wherever it was. Literally, commanded the box. That one defender that's going to come and head it. And you'd expect that to be Van Dijk.
Who organised the set pieces when you were at Villa?
I think Steve Wolford. We didn't have a set piece coach, Steve Wolford, but we didn't really go into detail like they would now. So when he was like, okay, Gabby, you stay up and relax. Don't come back and defend. We need you on the counter attack. I was happy with that, Crookie.
You like that very well.
Yeah, that suited me.
That sounds like a Crookie role. You used to play centre half though. You go stand up there on the halfway line, do what you like.
Well, it was defend the set pieces. Everyone had their player to mark, and then you had probably 3 that were zonal, and the rest picked up. And then attacking set pieces, you had your near post, your back post, someone on the keeper. It has changed a lot now, and it's working for a lot of clubs.
They did score, actually, from a corner in midweek, and they scored from a corner down at Bournemouth, which is a rarity, actually, because they've been awful at them this season.
The goals they conceded against Bournemouth, wasn't it? The first one, Van Dijk had
32 goals this season.
Then he collides with his own player for the third goal. Yeah. Kirkes has had a bit of a nightmare overall, bar the odd game.
They can't let Robertson go, can they?
I wouldn't have thought so. I mean,
that was crazy when I heard that.
Tottenham will keep trying, I think, on deadline day, but unless they get an adequate replacement,
I don't think they can let him go from the dressing room.
Just don't make sense. What are you gaining from? What would the fee have been?
5 million.
What are you gaining from that, Liverpool?
Nothing. But it's a loyalty bonus, really, isn't it? It's like saying to someone who's given you great service, you want to play, we understand it, we will let you go. We're probably going to let you go at the end of the year anyway because his contract is up. But right now, you need him in the dressing room.
You're still fighting for the Champions League.
And actually, when I was at Anfield on Wednesday night, before the game had even started, as soon as he came down into his position at the start of the game, they're all singing his name.
Exactly. You're still fighting on a lot of fronts. You've got a chance of the Champions League. You need to get top 5. That's not guaranteed. It's going to be a race for that. He could be the player that starts more than Kirkes the rest of the season.
Newcastle scored just 10 goals away from home this season. Nick Voltemada has gone 9 games without a goal. He scored just in 2 of his last 21 appearances.
Not having him. I'm not having him. Watched him a lot. Not when they signed him, I thought, okay, yeah, saw him in the 21s, done well, but I'm just not sure. Doesn't look strong. Doesn't hold the ball up with any conviction.
He's got a great
very
touch,
slow.
like, you know,
yeah, like a little touch. But when you watch it, sometimes he takes a touch and he just knocked over too easy.
Doesn't impose himself on games.
Yeah, like the size of him, not very good in the air. Misses a lot of chances from headers.
Are you suggesting he's a big lad with not much upper body strength?
Yes, I'm just not sure about him, mate. Why is he pointing at you, Cookie?
I just go back to the summer they had, and obviously the Isak saga dragged on probably longer than it should have done. If the owners were going to sell him anyway, they should have done it, I think, much earlier in the window. They tried for Ekitike. Brian Mbumo was a big target at the start of the window. Imagine the difference their attack would look now if they got both of those players in.
Ekitike would have been perfect for them. Vissa is going to take time, but I do think he will do well for Newcastle once he gets up to speed.
I'm not convinced on
You're
that.
you're not sure about him, no?
On the back of one goal-laden season. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, he's already scored 3 goals, hasn't he? And he fits the idea of what they want to do, which is run in behind. And actually, when Jacob Murphy was in the team, spinning the balls in behind defences, he can get on the end of them. He should have scored against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. But Murphy's injury has caused them an issue because it doesn't give them natural balance on the right-hand side. They've been using Barnes out there and sort of fudging it, really.
Gordon needs to get a goal, doesn't he?
Yeah,
in the Premier League, has a score for over a year.
He's done very well in the Champions League, but hasn't done too much in
penalties.
in the Premier League. I'm a Birmingham fan, says Tom. More annoying than the whistling and scoring against us is that Gabby is actually speaking a bit of sense for a change, and I find myself agreeing with him. John says, Sam and Crookie. Did Gabby really say that you two are too pally? Is this what he was like in the dressing room? Coming in, disrupting, and trying to ruin 25 years of friendship. How long? How long is this probationary period?
Never.
Outrageous. See, you've been rumbled.
I'm sorry.
You're a bad egg. You're a bad egg.
Can we go to a break? Can we go to a break?
Yeah. I think, look at him. He wants us to go to a break.
Where's this going?
The referee's gone into stoppage time on his watch.
Whistle on that. 03717 223344. Is that the time? Is that the number that you want to call? You can do. You can get in touch by WhatsApp or text us 81089. This is talkSPORT.
May have a wee chat with about Manchester United, and I've got to say, mate, and you'll have watched it yourself. Michael came in, that was obviously a big talking point, replacing Darren, temporary manager, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The two, not just the 2 results, but I think more than that, better than that, the 2 performances against City and Arsenal would probably be, I'm suggesting, beyond every United fan's dream, because they've been terrific.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I think. You know, when he took over, there's probably looking at the fixtures and 2 really, really tough games with City and Arsenal. But I don't think it's the fact that they won. I think it was the way they won, and how they won, and tactically how they got it spot on in every game. And I think it's worked to their advantage in terms of, you know, playing on the break, having the pace on the break, and those attacking transitions to hurt teams. But I think they got it absolutely spot on. I think it's the best I've probably seen United out of possession as well. You know. Players finding it struggling to get into the pockets and get turned, playing it through the lines. There was none of that in the 2 big games in recent weeks. But listen, this is beat both of them top teams, but now it's about sustaining momentum, creating that winning habit again. And like you said, I think for the fans, it's been difficult for the last few years, but brilliant for them as well.
Phil, someone that stands out for me for Manchester United, especially the last 2 games, is Harry Maguire. I mean, some of the stick he's got over the years has got personal, definitely on social media, and his mental strength, mate, must be like so strong to get through that, and he's playing some of his best football this season. Yeah,
I know him really, really well. Brilliant character, fantastic player, huge mentality to come back from the criticism that he received and everything surrounding and the talk about him. What a player! He's strong. He's aggressive. He's not just strong and aggressive. He's got the ability on the ball as well. And picks the passes and starts the attacks. But I'm delighted for him.
Sports at Matterface Alex Crook and the Godfather Gabby Agbonlahor. The latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is now available via the talkSPORT app and wherever you get your podcasts from. Comedians Matt Ford and Jacob Hawley, alongside the former USA goalkeeper Brad Friedel, to discuss how much difference a top-class goalkeeper can make if you want to win a World Cup. And Friedel has had his say on the current England #1, Jordan Pickford.
I think if he goes and wins a World Cup, I think England have a team that can win a World Cup, then he'll be considered as a true England great. I think he is a Premier League great for sure, but then being an international great is something different. With the quality that England has in their side and the quality that England has had in many sides over the past years, they need to go and win. If he does, then he'll for sure be considered an England great.
To listen to the full episode of the podcast, you can check out How to Win the World Cup, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, including the talkSPORT app as well. New episodes available every week between now and this summer's tournament. There's some great episodes already with Manu Petit on there, and Cleberson too, and Brad Friedel giving his view on Jordan Pickford. Chelsea take on West Ham United this weekend. Is there life in the old dog yet? Can West Ham show some fight and stay in the Premier League? A 3-0 victory, or 3-1 victory over Sunderland last weekend. Closed the gap at the time to Nottingham Forest, only for Nottingham Forest to go and pick up 3 points.
I think West Ham has showed fight, and then I think
more fight.
Yeah, more fight than they was, and it was the right decision to keep Nuno Santo a few weeks ago, where he might have been in trouble with his job. But the new signings, Pablo and Castellanos, they've added a bit of busyness around that forward line as well. Bowen's turning up to the party, so is Somerville, and Fernandes in midfield getting goals. That's what they're brought in for big money. They've got a chance. That's all they can give themselves. Keep believing, keep fighting, and there's no reason, if you get that first goal against Chelsea, you can't call it an upset.
It's a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday evening. We'll keep you in touch with it during the full-time phone-in with Jamie O'Hara. Or is it the Weekend Sports Bar? What's he doing this week?
He's got to pay for that wedding.
Oh, he's got to do both.
Yeah. After your gigs as well, I think so.
Then Gaffney a soup.
They went 10 Premier League games without a win before winning the last 2. But they have played, with all due respect, Tottenham Hotspur at home, where, if you're going to go and play anyone at home, it's got to be Tottenham Hotspur. And they played Sunderland away. And if you're going to take on anyone away, maybe Sunderland are that team.
Particularly with no Granit Xhaka. I don't underestimate the bearing that had on the outcome. So this will tell us, I think, a lot more about how far they've come. Obviously, a lot of rivalry between the two clubs, going back to the Frank Lampard days. And Chelsea, you've got to say, they've started well under Liam Rossini. Good comeback victory in Naples in midweek. I know Napoli are not the force maybe they were last season, but they don't lose at home very often. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a real intriguing fixture at both ends of the table.
A couple of great goals from João Pedro, but it's the 150th appearance for Enzo Fernandes this week. It's his 3rd-year anniversary at Chelsea.
Probably been their best player this season.
Yep.
He's definitely been their most creative force. He is their top goal scorer with 9 goals, but he's also a brilliant creator, and he has been playing a little bit further up.
Yeah, a bit further up. But what I liked about midweek, and everyone's gunning for Liam Rossini because they say he doesn't deserve the job, but he makes some big decisions, even to start Reece James.
Is that just social media chatter, though?
I hope so, because he deserves a chance. I mean, Reece James centre-half, it wasn't working first half, no problem. I'm not stubborn. Chalobah, you're on. Reece James right back. Gusto, you're off. Wasn't scared to take Gittins off, sub in a sub. Big decision that our manager's got to make as well. And he's getting the best out of João Pedro, who is a special player and should be doing more than he is.
Yeah, and he's sort of taken a different approach with him, hasn't he? As you saw in the clips afterwards when he's doing the interview in the mix zone, he sort of comes over and has a laugh and a joke at him. He's almost like his matey figure, which I think João Pedro has sort of thrived on.
That's what he didn't get from Fabian Herzler last season, and it was no coincidence that his form tailed off for Brighton.
Do you reckon he got it from Enzo Maresca?
Maybe not. He's not as warm a character, Maresca, as Liam.
I want to see Palmer, though. I want to see Cole Palmer running games now. It's good to see him come on.
They're still managing his minutes, though, aren't they? They're still not convinced
because
about his injury.
This groin injury is still so persistent. I don't know how you sort it out without surgery, but they're adamant they're not going to have surgery.
Just frustrating as a footballer when you could consistently having injuries. And you're someone like Cole Palmer, I want to play every minute. I don't even come off in the 90th minute. So to be told that you've got to manage your minutes, it must be so frustrating for him, because he's got a lot to do to be on that plane to the World Cup. A lot to do.
Okay, so that game kicks off 5:30 on Saturday evening. Chelsea looking to win back-to-back Premier League games at Stamford Bridge for the first time this season.
Wow.
I think that is quite some damning.
I had to whistle them.
statistic. Will you? Not do that again. You know what? Of all of the things that we do on this programme, I've never had so many text messages about you blooming whistling.
I stopped myself, didn't I? See, it's logged in there now. I'll do it again.
You logged in the brain.
Yes.
That's good. You were watching that on the TV earlier on. You nearly did it again, didn't you?
It was a motorbike crash, wasn't it?
Nearly.
In a race. It wasn't just wasn't watching something completely random.
Bit of context needed.
Always good, because Crook gets a little bit distracted by the big screen in there.
You're in a rush, aren't you, Crookie? You're trying to make us wrap up early or something.
I think the referee has said, look, come on, time is up.
What time do you train?
1:05.
Oh, right, okay. You want to go now?
We don't have to break it, do we, Sam?
Crookie, have a good weekend. I'll see you on Sunday for Game Day Live. We take you around the grounds. Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City is our focus. I'll also hear from Gabby Agbonlahor on that show because he too is doing extra shifts this weekend. I wonder what he's trying to pay for.
Married
Can we come on the stag do?
Yeah, we'll do it at the Redwood.
Pat Butcher's his best man.
to be fair, he's so tight. He's so tight. We would do it at the Redwood.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Well, H&J next.
I think if it was the other way around, Simon, and Thomas Frank and Tottenham were struggling in Europe, but doing really well in the Premier League, no one would say boo.
No, they wouldn't, because they would look at the Champions League and say, well, it's the elite of Europe.
Right.
And it comes, despite the fact that when we look at it and we distill it, there's a lot of crap teams in that Champions League format, and there's a lot of opportunities to be successful in it. I mean, even Celtic nearly qualified last year through the Champions League format. That's how low it is in terms of quality, in terms of on the European stage. So, but it comes with a packaging. It's like everything in life. If you subscribe to a view, if you've decided in your mind's eye, and the media have decided and the public have decided that this Champions League is a marvellous tournament, it's littered with absolute superstars teams. So when you actually get knocked out of it, if you're not one of those teams that are winning leagues, people say, well, you had a good tilt, but here's the Champions League.
Yeah. But when you actually look at it and go, well, actually, so look at it, actually, some of these teams ain't that good. And is that why Tottenham Hotspur are thriving at the moment? Because the narrative... Because of the level of opponent?
It's because of the... I don't know that argument. You can make the argument that it's because of the style of play. You can also make the argument that in 8 games, there might be some lesser opposition. You can make a whole raft of arguments. You take the success. My point was, to go to your question, was why is it packaged in such a way that it could be perceived to be success by qualifying for a knockout competition, yet not being successful in the league, gets you some form of pass? It's because of what people's perception of it is. People, they